What's up? Hey.
Hey, baby.
I thought that was more of an intro to the.
And of course, Jin's not there. He went to go get a glass of water. That's fine.
Oh,
He's a thirsty boy.
Yeah,
Honestly,
he
he should have gotten to get lemonade. You know,
lemons and limes.
Lemonade,
Lemons and limes. And the creepy
I
pirate.
love how everybody took a sip at the exact same time.
I know, right?
That's how in sync we are.
Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome to the Debtors Gambit. Episode 12, everybody. Session 12. Can you believe that? That's pretty crazy. We are exploring the founding of the Revelry and the founding of Darktow as the pirate capital of the Revelry. And this is way before season 1 and 2 of Critical Role, and as we explore Wildmount, the Menagerie Coast, and the wonderful idea of becoming pirates, because becoming a pirate is the fun part of the journey, my friends. Becoming one, going down that dark path that eventually throws you over the rail into becoming one of the most nefarious sea dwellers that we know.
It's a pirate life for me.
Yarr.
Oh wait, no, that's Gatharn's. Sorry.
I'm not really sure what you be speaking of, but I
I'm pretty sure there's
understand.
only two of us that can have a pirate's life. The other two have to have a pirate's unlife.
Oh, okay. We'll give you that one. Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Glad you made it to the end of the week. I am sorry to report that tomorrow is Monday. For those of you that exist...
I'm so concerned for a second.
I did too. I was like, oh no.
I was like, wait, are we not gonna have... No! So we're ready for tomorrow's game. Okay, we're fine.
And our current schedule, so everyone's apprised. Monday is Faerun Reborn. Tuesday, Denizens and Their Masters. Wednesday, The Descendants. There will be no one-shot this Thursday, as it is off. We take every other Thursday as our one-shot schedule. Friday, Age of Arcanum. And then, of course, Sunday nights, Debtors Gambit. Everything you need to know about us is down below. I forgot to reset our miniature and dice giveaway channels today. I was kind of being lax, so I will reset that after the show tonight, I promise. But if you head on over to our Discord, jump in there. Every week, we support our dice goblins, our storytellers, our gamers with miniatures and dice. And I believe, let me double check the calendar. Tomorrow's the 30th. On Tuesday, we will be drawing our winner for our end of summer giveaway, which is the players bundle on D&D Beyond, where you'll be given a redeemable code to get the players bundle. I believe it's 3 or 4 books worth of value on that redeemable code. So if you've never done D&D Beyond before, you're looking to get into it, jump on over into our Discord, do the monthly giveaway, and there you go. And as always, before we do our recap, Shannon, talk to us about some of the crazy stuff you got going on.
One of those things is a cat that is convinced that I have more chicken under my leg and decided to dig through my thigh to try to find it. Love it. Anyway, what do I have going on? Untitled Chapter. It's a Mage of the Ascension 5th edition podcast. You find that basically anywhere you can find podcasts. We are scheduled to have the next episode up, crossing our fingers, by next Thursday. There are quite a few re-records that need to happen. Unfortunately, in the recording process, I will, throw back the curtain a little bit on this one. We recorded these a long time ago and haven't had time to sit down and mill through all of the audio. So when you go back to edit it now, you realize that, I don't know, there's a sound like a cord is sitting on top of a power cord, like a buzzing.
Yep.
Or the bot that we used to record didn't have a good connection on one recording, and one recording is 2 episodes. So it's like 5 or so hours of audio, raw audio to listen to find all of that. Yep, it takes a very long time to find all of that.
Production.
So that's one of the things that has been taking some time. And also, I've been taking a long time because I've been very busy. But Sam is editing it, so should
Awesome.
actually get up in a timely fashion.
I think I'm almost caught up. I'm getting there.
My God.
I'm getting there. Because whenever I start resorting my minis and working on the studio, I have the Hyperboom box underneath the table, which will be lots of fun for when we do our live session. And I always listen to Odd when I'm working in the studio. That reminds me, Cesare, before I forget, I need you to come out the weekend before Vince comes out and Shannon comes out. I need some last minute help dialing everything in, just in case. And Cesare will be introducing himself here shortly. Shannon, can you also mention Uncanny Pros? Are they still?
I can. Yes,
Yeah.
I can do that. Uncanny Pros is another D&D, I almost said podcast, it's not a podcast, stream that happens every Tuesday. The lovely Dan is on that one. They are running through content produced by
Harrow, I miss you, Harrow.
a third-party producer called Gooey Cube. And Gooey Cube is actually the company I'm going with for Gen Con. So they're a little third-party publisher that's actually gained a fair following at this point. So if you want some spooky content alongside some fairy shenanigans,
really cool
I
horror.
recommend checking them out.
Yeah, really cool horror. I like it. Shannon will not steer you wrong. I assure you of that. Cesare,
I try not to.
talk to us about some of your fun stuff that you got going on.
Well, hi, I'm Cesare, and I have a good time playing the D&Ds and the other things as well. On Tuesdays, I'm part of a group that releases a podcast and video production on YouTube, as well as all of the podcast platforms, called the General Adventuring Company. It is a D&D 5e homebrew world where I get to play a Dragonborn Ranger Rogue multi-class, which is a lot of fun.
And evidently you make your players cry.
Yeah, well, sort of, kind of. It's an ongoing thing. I am very much a method actor, and so I get into my character and I try and be that character the whole time. And that character has not been having a very fun time as of late. And so everybody, there have been comments about how I look like I'm not having fun at all, which is very contrary. And it was really funny because last week we had the little disclaimer, hey guys, we're actually all really good friends. We all really like each other. We're all having a great time. Just wanted to let you know that's still the case. We still enjoy what we do. But yeah, the General Adventuring Company, you find it on YouTube and podcast platforms. You can also find it on social media. It's TGAC Pod, Pod. And
link is in the chat or down below.
Yeah, info's all there. I'm gonna put on my calendar that need to go out to the studio the weekend before. That way we can get the things all set up and ready to go.
And my new battle cam is awesome. It works so well. I had it in. I used it for my 2 private pay-to-play table games, and they loved it.
Nice.
And then I think I used it for the one shot, and everybody said it was much improved. It's basically a GoPro 8 that I've converted as a tabletop, battle cam,
Beautiful.
and it works. I can't do back-to-back games with it. It overheats.
Yeah, yeah.
They do
that is a common
overheat,
thing.
especially if it's a long session. But the clarity is by far the best out of all the camera
It's beautiful.
riggings that I have up here. So,
Heck yeah, man.
and I know I keep saying this, and I do promise I'm going to take some time to do it. I've got to get our about page updated. We EMPZ Studios, which is Omni's production side of what Cesare does in his real life. Amazing photography, videography,
In my real life.
sound. Well, your mundane life, not your fantasy life.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah. Being a member of the SCA, we kind of lean that way in our.
This is our real
conversation.
life, you guys. This is actually happening right now.
I thought I was in a drug-induced haze at the moment.
Oh, you will be shortly after the recap.
Gatharn is, yes, and true.
And
There's giant people up there throwing dice, I swear.
And in case we haven't mentioned it before, Vince delivers the mail, and Brandon, he sends rockets up into space. Works for SpaceX, and
one job is
Not
infinitely more
Bezos.
important than the other.
I'm not sure if
That's your
anybody
social
saw
security text
the.
every week.
I'm not sure if everyone
Hey.
saw the funky launch this week with Astrolab. Was it Astra?
Yeah, they didn't make it to space.
Well, not only that, everybody was confused by the sideways launch. That
Neither did
was
Bezos.
that was pretty crazy. It launched, and then it went out this way, and then it kept going.
Well, obviously the Astra engineers saw the 3rd installment of the Fast and the Furious franchise and decided to Tokyo Drift that bitch.
We're gonna go with anime physics on this one. We're
Yeah.
just gonna
Mhm.
completely
Yeah.
change our trajectory and then go reassess.
Absolutely.
We'll show those clowns, those
What they were
Elon Musk
hoping to do
clowns.
was actually kind of hover and let the Earth spin fast enough for like that slingshot effect. It didn't work.
I saw
None of us are
I like
rocket
my- I like
engineers,
my
so we
joke
don't
better.
actually know what the fuck you're talking about. But okay.
I'm not fucking it either. I just make
We're
sure it
gonna
gets put
slingshot
together.
around the dark side of the moon.
Ooh, fun fact. In several 100,000 years, we'll become tidally locked with the moon, so only one side of the planet will actually see the moon.
Oh well, that's frightening. Oh, but that'll
Yeah,
be
well,
very.
We'll all be dead, so
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's the brighter.
Yeah, we'll
that's the
have
brighter
rats.
side of the story. I appreciate that.
humanity might not even be around. It'll be the dinosaurs again. They'll have evolved from chickens.
Be like Rick and Morty.
Wow.
What you did? You did Jesus after Cowboys?
Hmm.
I mean, if any story has a bright side, it's that one. Because it only has a bright side and a dark side.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
a second one has been
50%.
All right,
given to
just
Shannon.
kill me. Just have Thorvald kill me. Just have Thorvald execute me.
Oh man, this is gonna be a good session. We're all in a particular mood.
Well, yeah. So let's go ahead and recap where we last left off, because
I also have my new
Day.
mask. Mommy wants a kiss.
Oh god.
so
I'm cosplaying as Nicki Minaj.
you might be an old young curmudgeon. So where we last left off, I forgot what.
Everyone else is in trouble and Gatharn's high.
Yeah. So
They
the
synced.
group managed to resolve at least one issue. One, they're beginning to understand the nature of Jinn. There seems to be a daytime Jinn and a nighttime Jinn. The other thing that they began to finally do is they went on a shopping trip. They were enjoying, I believe, the 3rd day of the Revels, correct? Now,
Day 2.
Is it only day 2 of the Revels?
It's only day 2.
Holy shit! Finally,
We pack a lot of content
well,
into
yeah,
like
because
24 hours.
day 1 was gambling, drinking, getting into
And drugs.
fights, drug addiction, and all the things that come with Gatharn. Day 2 was defending yourselves, acquiring a ship, waking up the next morning and realizing that Jin is definitely a weird motherfucker, and beginning to understand his weirdness with some clarity. The team then dispersed out into the Revels and began to do a little shopping, looking for places to buy potions and armaments and armor. But rather than stick to the shopping montage, they made their way to the blacksmith, where Jin attempted to sell Medi. Omni, unsure as to what the fuck Jin was doing, kind of played along by staying quiet. And then, I believe his name is Benares.
Eris.
Oh, Benares. Barris? I thought it was Bellend.
Well,
Eris
there was a
Benares.
lead.
Oh, no,
Ooh,
he is a Bellend, not his name. My bad.
the blacksmith, Barris Fenaluan.
Yes, Barris. Dealing with Barris, because evidently when I see an N, I automatically put in an R because I'm an idiot. Dealing with Barris, yeah.
Barris.
Dealing with Barris by trying to sell Medi. Well, unbeknownst to Omni and Jin, this individual was a familiar to a vampire that knows who Medi is. Medi was surprised to find out that this individual leaned in and said, "Don't worry, I don't buy slaves." That the last minute, Jin backed out, couldn't go through with it, and this devolved into a confrontation with two shadowy figures and this individual. Unfortunately for this individual, it did not end well. But Gatharn had already wandered off due to his ADD, ADHD, OCD, and all the things that gnome orcs suffer from, because he already had armaments and he already had everything that he felt he needed. And he went to the alchemical shroom in search of potions. However, after killing Benares and the other two ran off, the dwarf and other blacksmiths that were servicing the shop broke into the site of a dead Benares and no sight of the others, and immediately called the Tharivol guards. At this point, Gatharn saw a column of guards going one way as he entered into the alchemical shroom, where he was greeted with a very hippy-dippy halfling kind of individual who, with flowers in her hair, little magical pixies flying around, began to sample some of the fine wares of the alchemical shroom. Turned around to see a column of the Tharivol guards leading Omni, Medi, and Jin back towards the guild's headquarters to have a little chat with Tharivol. Here they were brought into the main meeting hall, and as they entered the garden space of the headquarters, they saw Captain Raylene, who pretended not to recognize them. They were led into the hallway and then the main office where Tharivol was, where they were greeted with the guild master Firbolg, a rather large, oversized Firbolg with a mohawk, a particularly scarred eye, and showing very much the signs of wear and tear. After being led into this space, they were stood in front of Firbolg, where Tharivol then looked at the three of you and said, "Would you mind explaining to me why you killed one of my best agents?" And that's where we last left off. What would the three of you like to do?
Seeing as how Omni was talking was kind of getting him in trouble last time with Medi, he's just gonna not say anything to start and just kind of look over to her and see if she wants to take lead on this one.
I don't have all day. I could simply throw you in prison and we could discuss it when you rot.
Yeah, no, that's just wanted to see if
And you
anybody
guys are
else-
still flanked by guards. The peg-legged individual who brought you in is still in the room as well. And there's some other kind of like, you're going to guess maybe aides or scribes or handlers of Thorvald's that are kind of off to the side as well. They're all very much looking at you quite intently. But
Thorvald, if I may, sir, this is not the way we wanted to meet in our first regards.
where we intended to meet.
We had hoped to, yes. Initially, we wanted to give you our condolences over the death of your brother. He was our captain. And
He holds up his hand. You were on that ship.
Aye.
Everybody leave now! And you watch as all the handlers, the guards, everyone quickly. And then before the peg-legged woman makes her way out. Michelle, fetch Captain Raylene. Now! And she's white with fear. Yes, Thorvald, I will get her for you. And out the door. You hear the door latch. You hear the other door latch. You hear the other door latch. I don't love any of my agents particularly enough to not have this conversation about my brother's ship. And he finally gets up from behind his desk. His size is what catches you at first, as his full 9-foot height comes out from behind his desk. His shoulders 3 feet wide. Just for a Firbolg, it's just the opposite of what you'd expect from their physical presentation. He runs his hand through his mohawk. He reaches down for his massive stein and he pulls a drink from it, sets it down, and he looks at the three of you. Sit. I have questions.
Yep.
By the way, I need the three of you to make wisdom saves, please.
Oh, shit, okay. That was quick. 18.
I sit.
6.
6. Medi, what's your wisdom save?
6, so I assume I sit.
You and Jen each get... Well, it's not that you assume you sit. Omni, because you did pass your wisdom save, you begin to recognize the telltale signs of Zone of Truth has been cast in this area. Medi and Jin do not realize this. Medi and Jin, by sitting, you feel compelled to sit. That's fair enough. All three of you sit. Now, tell me, who is in charge of your little group?
DM, Zone of Truth is a charisma save, so it's a 4.
Oh,
Jeez.
sorry. Yes, you're right. Charisma.
That's
Then
much worse for me. So.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's a
I-
20,
I
22
was-
for me then.
Yeah, I was thinking of something else. My bad. Thank
well,
you,
for
Shannon.
me now.
What for you, Jen?
I got you, boom.
12.
Yeah, that's still a fail. So you two still fail.
Jatharn doesn't even need to roll. He's got a -1.
Because he's on drugs somewhere. is
And
why
he's
he doesn't-
also
Yeah,
in a
you're not
shop
even there.
tripping on
Yeah.
shrooms. That's amazing. To answer your first question, sir, when we went into Barris's shop, he showed a very particular interest to our comrade Medi here, and something didn't seem right. We went then tried to buy some wares from him, and my other comrade Jin was under the impression that this person might have ulterior motives and presented an opportunity, if you will, to kind of figure out what their intention was. And it seemed as though that they were a slave trader.
You see
And
Jin starting to like kind of perspire and like rip the seat of his chair, and he's like biting his lip.
Oh, really?
under this deception, he had agreed to purchase Medi, and we weren't going to allow that to happen. And when we kind of called him out on it, he and two of his comrades attacked us. Seeing as how we were unarmed, being in the Revels, all of our arms were either collected or kept on ship. We defended ourselves with the wares that we were going to purchase rightfully from his shop.
Hmm.
And that is what led to us taking his life. The two then called the guards and
What was the circumstance of his inquiry? Why did you feel taking his life was your only recourse?
so that may have been our fault personally. When it wasn't necessarily intended to be such a powerful death blow, but it did end up being quite a critical wound that we dealt him.
So you
Um,
meant to subdue him.
Yes, definitely. We had more questions that we needed to ask him as to why he was so interested and intrigued
You
by
watch as
Medi.
his scowl kind of looks from you over to the other two. Is this true?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like a little trickle of blood coming from the bit lip. Oh yeah, that's all right. His insight was a natural one.
And if I'm being completely honest with you, sir,
Are you being completely honest with me?
yes. The reason that we were okay with killing him and for us personally breaking that rule is there is definitely put this delicately, part of our past. There were many years that we ourselves were sold into slavery. And
Slavery. That was the subject matter that you bickered with. Why was
yeah,
Bonus interested in a conversation about slavery? He is not one of my agents in relation to those matters.
that's what we were not sure of. That's when we tried to ask him that and find out more information, that's when he started going a little bit crazy and had attacked us.
What is your name?
We are known as Omni. This is Medi and Jin.
Medi. Is this true? Are you okay? You don't seem to be speaking. Is she a deaf mute or something? Not that there's
No.
anything wrong with that, but I mean, I do have a mind flare on hand that I could possibly probe her mind with if that would be more efficient.
Not necessary. No.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
It's
do have a voice. Good. Glad to hear it.
just a little concerned is the severity of the situation and
Oh,
probably
I can
doesn't
assure
want
you
to
it's severe.
speak out of
See,
turn.
part of the problem is I have to continue the airs that I'm in charge. And sometimes you have to make examples, whether they're true or false. But you were on the Maximizer, and you served under my brother Trinity, correct? And I'm
Yes.
assuming you were in the Hurricane as well.
Yes, we were.
You hear a clicking noise as a door opens, and the form of the goblin Captain Raylene as she makes her way inside and just smiles ruefully at the three of you, and then kind of runs her tongue along her teeth as she stares at Thorvald. Yes, Captain. Please, join us if you would. These three, I believe, are the ones that you told me about, correct? Ah, yes, I finished. Well, there should be a fourth and a fifth, but I did receive word from Afiola that she would be traveling for a while. Where is that juicy little snack, Gathan, by the way?
He had separated from us earlier in the day. Something about looking for some other rations or other tools and things that we might need. He was actually not at the incident that in the blacksmith shop. He left before that.
Mary, Jen, do you know where Gathan is? Jen, you look like you're in pain, like maybe you know.
I might. No.
Where is he, Jen?
I also might not know. It is what we like to call as a thought experiment, as Schrodinger's thought. I might or I might not know.
Well, Thorvald, Gathan is a particular connoisseur of the things that make you high and silly. I'll send some men over to the alchemical shroom. I'm sure he's probably there. No.
That's fair.
Unnecessary. I'm more interested in understanding what happened to my brother and, well, why the four of you seem to live and he does not. So, tell me what you know and what happened.
Honestly, we know very little about what happened. The hurricane was very intense, and while we tried to sail through and do everything that we could to stay afloat, the ship ended up taking so much damage and took on so much water that there wasn't much left of it.
Did you ever happen to see what was in the hold?
In the hold?
My
No.
brother was commissioned to deliver something by the Zehefe of the Clovis Conclave. I thought it interesting.
What's a Zehefe? I mean, you said it like the Jefe, like the boss? Is that...
Well,
No, is that...
he is, as you say, well, oh, good Lord, where did that go?
Note scrambles.
Yeah.
No, it's sometimes my goddamn OneNotes don't save correctly. It drives me nuts.
Well, we had kind of passed out, and when we came to, we were floating on various parts of debris, and actually, when we thought things couldn't get any worse, we were attacked by a beast of the sea, kind of kraken in form, and if it wasn't for Captain Raylene sailing by momentarily, we would have not actually made it. It was her graciousness and mercy that allowed us to be pulled from the sea.
He is a bit soft. Zehefe Gregor is in charge of the Clovis Conclave. He's the one that sees to it as to constantly remind me and the other guilds about how much how expensive we are. My brother Trinity was making a contract delivery for him, and it required him to sail through that fucking hurricane. Something that normally my brother would never do. Kind of slams his hand down on the table, shifts it over to the stein, drains it, pours another one. So, no information whatsoever.
Unfortunately, not. Not that we know of what could have been done to avoid the ship going down, or what was even in the hold. And we were his first mate. We knew nothing of the sorts of his him being charged with any type of delivery.
Medi, Jin, thoughts on this matter?
Just fix the ships. I work with wood.
I was mostly trying to not drown at the time.
Interesting. Well, not really sure what to do with them, Captain Raylene. There are times that sometimes a presence of justice is required, whether or not it's real justice at all. I can assure you, Thorvald, it would be a waste of both skills and character. What you're saying is they could fit into my overall motives. Oh yes, they've even had a little private meeting with the Hawk. The Hawk. Now what the fuck would the Hawk want to do with the likes of the three of... your little trip to Barnacle Island, Raylene? You watch as he opens a drawer and he takes out a folded flag and sets it on top of the desk. So these are the ones that retrieved that flag for us, are they? And claim to not know where the compass is. So Jin, Medi, and Omni, you have no idea where the compass is?
Dispel magic.
At what level?
Fourth.
Roll a d20.
Ooh.
What do I add? My spell mod?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, your charisma mod.
You mentioned the Hawk. Does
18.
he not normally take...
You motherfucker. That's exactly what you needed. The last minute, Jin and Medi feel Zone of Truth dissipate.
I just can't help but glance over at Jin and just be like, okay.
Do you have pets in here, like a cat or something? My eyes are getting real puffy.
Yeah, you're
Or when you
quite the
mentioned
daring sea dweller.
the Hawk, does he not normally take audiences with people? Because we met him in the gambling hall, and to be completely honest, it seemed as if he was more interested in some extracurricular activities with us, which was why we had assumed that he was inviting us to dinner on his
He
ship.
is often seen playing with his food, yes.
His food? What now?
He is one of those that
He's a
no, not. It's more of a colloquialism, a way how we describe someone who is unable to control themselves.
250.
Kyle West plays.
Boom!
Guess what, Kyle West plays?
Woohoo!
I need you to ping me. You are our official winner for a separate giveaway. We're doing a drawing on Tuesday, but for our 250th follower, you are free to choose a core rule book of your choice, whether it's D&D, Mage, Cortex, or any of the other dozens of games out there. And we'll send that to you. So be sure to send me a whisper so we can chat that up later. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
We hit that 250 mark in 4 months. I'm I can't be
We
more.
got your fucking bitches.
Let's
I can't
go.
be more appreciative of everybody out there, and I really do mean that. And thank you very, very much.
And also, you're welcome for the tiny beans.
Aw.
That cat is
Remember,
There's that
people,
cat.
That cat is ridiculous, is what that cat is, by the way.
if an
And he
animal
just
has
is
toe
over
beans,
petting
it's
her
a
little
predator.
cat out of nowhere.
This is true. This is true. So, he looks at you and goes, well, Jin, I can see you're the simple one here, so I'll lay it out for you. He is one of those that consumes more than he needs. 90...
Oh, like
Like who? Who are you pointing
Jin,
at?
Jin, put your hand down.
Don't. Do you have a nervous tick? I mean, it's okay if you do. We can accommodate that. I could just, cut the muscles around your neck and you won't have to worry about it anymore.
over there. She's always hungry.
I don't think that he's literally talking about food.
No.
And I think that we have
Oh,
more
okay, so-
important things to
oh.
discuss. Jin?
Yeah, right. Yeah, don't upset her, sir. She
Hmm.
gets a
Jin,
little.
I think he's talking about the sexual desires. I know you're not too familiar with all of those, but it's
Sexual.
yes, it's
You and I need to go to the nearest church of Palor right after this and cleanse our ears of your dirty thoughts, sir,
okay,
Captain.
okay. Yes. Whatever.
You guys
Lord.
can't help but watch as Riley just kind of stifles a laugh with her hand, and you watch as Thorvald looks at Riley and looks at, yes, one of those. These groups are always interesting. Ha 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 ha. That's my jovial laugh, by the way.
It's a good one. In regards to the hawk, sir, we recently came into possession of a ship through means of gambling as well. And
Fair enough.
we have
Nothing wrong with that.
we have all the documentation, and the crew members that were on the ship prior mentioned that the hawk owned the ship, but when we asked him about it, he said that it was not one of his that he had financed. I feel like it's a redundant question, and it's probably, not necessary, but is he to be trusted in any capacity?
No.
Cool.
You met his 3 elven sisters, I assume.
Oh, yes. They attacked our friend Gatharn.
Yes, I've already received a complaint from the owner of that establishment. In dealing with Carney, I've already received a message from the Hawk seeking an audience in regards to Gatharn. You'll find there's not much I don't know. In fact, the things that I don't know is what concerns me. So, I'll ask again.
That's fair.
Other than the obvious fornication he sought from you and your friends, what was discussed?
He made an offer that wasn't.
God damn it, man,
Sexually
where's
involved.
that fucking compass?
Wow. Whoa. I just felt like the conversation just went from 0 knots to 40 knots. And
You
we
watch
need
as
to
he
settle
reaches
that
out his
down to a nice
hand.
5.
I need a strength save from you, Jen.
Oh man, it's incredible how much Jin talking
I counter
is getting
grapple.
him.
Counter grapple.
Strength save?
Yep.
21.
21. You feel your jaw begin to crack like it's going to shatter, and you feel this flesh around your mouth almost pull tight. DC was a 21. You managed to resist it, but it stuns you momentarily from the pain. You take 31 points of bludgeoning damage.
Excuse me.
shut up.
So remember,
Comic.
above game. Remember in chat when I was like, maybe we should just Merc Thorvald and like take over.
I know, right?
Okay, probably not. Probably not.
My man's a monk.
Yes, totally do that. You guys got
My-
this. I'm
My
rooting
man's a
for you.
monk.
But he never touched you. He just simply put out his hand and twisted.
He's using
He
the
used the force.
Alright.
He
Alright.
force
Not
bitch
only is
slapped
he a
you.
monk, he has 8th level spells. Y'all watch out.
Amazing, amazing.
Produced an invisible mage
No,
hand to
I'm kidding.
bitch slap you.
I'm
He was
out
like,
of spell slots.
"Bah!"
So,
As I'm
you
stunned-
clearly sense the anger in Thorvald.
Yeah.
You watch as Jin is momentarily stunned. Even Captain Raylene kind of defensively crosses her arms, but you watch as her hands kind of dip down inside of a jacket, and there's a small metal flash that she's now got in her hand. But she's staring more at Thorvald than you.
Can I do that wisdom check thing to see if I transition? Because I took so much fucking damage.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
go for it.
And can I make a
Did we
perception
settle?
check?
It was a wisdom, just a wisdom saving throw or a wisdom check?
I leave that up to you. Whatever you think provides you the challenge that you're looking for with your character. I'm okay either way.
Can I make a perception check to see if I notice what Raylene was scooping up?
Sure.
12.
I would call that a fail, Jin.
Okay. Jin says quiet.
Perception. Nope, that's performance. 18?
18. It's a very small pistol. Oh, the lemons and limes are gone. This is about to get real fucking interesting. So while this
Okay,
conversation is
great,
going on,
Great.
Gatharn, you are now officially high as a kite. You've been in this place for
Talking to
about
pixies.
20, 30 minutes after you saw your friends get carted by towards the direction of the guild HQ.
In a parade. They got into a parade without me. Figures.
Eventually, you hear the door open.
Potions.
So I'll say we'll resolve the potion procurement. What potions are you looking for?
Healing potions.
Okay.
In particular, water breathing potions. And
So she has
an anti-venom.
she has she does not have the anti-venom. She has fly, invisibility, water breathing, water walking, lesser, greater, and superior healing.
Lessers for the healings.
Okay.
And then how much for the water breathing?
Water breathing is 250 gold. Pretty common effect that most people sell.
Okay, 25 skulls.
Yep. That's right, because you went to the currency
you
exchange.
go.
Look at you.
Using that math, Gatharn.
And then how much are the lessers?
I almost did my Thorvald voice. Those will be 500 gold apiece.
I'll take the lesser. And I give her all my copper skulls.
Okay. She kind of runs her finger down your neck and your chest, and she goes, "Is there anything else I can give you?"
Yes. Where's the bedroom?
At that point, the door clanks open. There's 6 Thorvald guards standing there. Are you Gatharn?
Yes.
Come with us now, please. And keep it simple.
That's Jin's job.
So you want to be difficult?
Why are you purple?
Oh, shit, he's high. Give me the irons, since he's not going to come quietly.
Pixies, go get help.
You feel the irons kind of clap onto you. The halfling looks at you and goes, "I'll have your stuff when you come back."
Just send it to the bronze bell? Yes, the bronze bell. The bronze bell.
Oh.
Captain Raylene ship.
Oh, okay. I know who she is very well. And they kind of lead you out. And you feel like the cuffs aren't on very tight on purpose.
Parade, I'm in a parade.
And they begin to lead you down. Oh, let me.
Walking too fast.
I
This is
forgot
like
to.
dun, 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 brum, bum, 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 bum. Hey. Dun, 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 dun.
You're walking down Skull's Way, making your way towards the Guildmaster's headquarters.
I'm talking to pixies as I see them.
And there are dozens of them because that one particular mushroom you
Go
took.
get my godfather.
This one's really fucking high. I'm telling you, her shit's good. And they just keep carting you down. Eventually, you make it through the double doors. At the height of Thorvald's anger, the door opens. As you examine what Raylene has, Gatharn is shoved into the room. The two guards nod towards Thorvald. At this point, everybody outside heard him yell, where's the fucking compass? And that change in tone, demeanor. You even begin to notice that his face gets a little bit more flush. The tattoos on his neck and face shift in color, and new tattoos begin to appear on his arms.
How lit is it in here?
It's very well lit. Lanterns.
For you, it's
But I'm
hella
high.
lit, my boy.
Trinity, I thought you died. You're alive! Hey guys, Trinity's alive. I thought you guys were in a parade.
Shit.
I must be really high.
Gatharn, this is Thorvald. This is Trinity's brother, the leader here.
Oh.
So please mind your manners.
I know I don't even need to ask this, but Gatharn, make a charisma save with disadvantage, please. As a new zone of truth is popping up directly on you.
I mean, it's a fail because it's a 12.
But you also are incapable of lying, so I know it's kind of like that double standard when anybody talks to you.
Yeah.
So, Gatharn, I was inquiring about the hawk, the conversation that was being
Dickhead.
had. Oh, well, we're in agreement of something. And I want to know where that fucking compass is. Do you know
All right.
where
yes.
it is?
Our compass is on our ship right by the steering wheel thingy.
I mean, Raylene's cracking up. She can't even hold back. He just rubs his hand through his mohawk. Oh, well, I could see which one I'm going to hang. Are you sure that you don't know where this fucking compass is?
Specific. I just told you where our compass is. It's
I'm
on the ship.
asking all of you.
Oh. Yeah, I just told you our compass is on the boat with the steering wheel.
Din kind of just coughs a little bit, and then he spits up like this glob of black ichor onto the desk.
You okay? Jen, are you okay?
Ichi.
Okay.
You got the flag, which meant you
Yes.
were on the tomb. To get out, I know you must have gotten inside the ship.
The flag was on top of the mast.
I know. The ship
Yeah.
was his tomb.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I know you must have made your way into the captain's quarters because no one's stupid enough to finally make it down into that place and not try to look for shit. So,
Had a bunch of
found
stuff,
lots
but it
of
wasn't
things.
in the captain's quarters.
Yeah, we found some jewels, and Captain Raylene was very gracious in letting us keep a lot of the
I
wealth
care
that we
less for
found.
your contractual bargains with Raylene. That's not my concern. My concern is
Oh.
tracking down this compass, and I want it. You're the last ones in that tomb. You must have seen it, and if you saw it, you must have taken it.
I will point out, yes, we are in fact quite stupid. However, as we were investigating around, lava started raining from the ceiling as the volcano was erupting, so we didn't exactly have a lot of leisurely time to be looking for everything that could possibly be down there.
It's
Oh.
definitely a grab and go kind of situation. Very, very short period of time.
So if you were to
Felt like
get
that was
back
an
down
important
there,
detail.
you could find it, yes?
We have no idea if we would be able to find anything. As Captain Raylene recently said, it's probably all covered in lava at this point. But we did find something that you might be interested in.
There's a very
And-
severe tingling sensation running across your brain, Omni. Make a wisdom save, please.
As I'm saving my wisdom, whoo, natural 20 for a 24.
He's quite literally trying to peel into your brain matter, but your resistance to it is frustrating for him.
We did find something that might have some clues to its location. And I'll reach into the bag or into my bag and pull out the leather-bound journals that were Copper Joe's like personal diaries, if you will. And we haven't really had a chance to like go through them, but we did know that these were his journals. It was one of the few things that we were just able to grab quickly and go. Captain Raylene didn't say anything about you wanting them, so we were
Give
just
me
kind of see what
give me a persuasion.
Okay. I'm good at this. Please. Dirty 20. Rolled a 12.
He stares at you quietly for a moment. Yes, I'll take those books in exchange for your lives.
It is a really good trade. Thank you. I hand him over.
Raylene, I don't know where you found these 4 pups,
In the ocean.
but if they come before me again in this matter, without the compass, the heads will be on pikes, and I'm not too sure yours won't be alongside them. Are we clear, Captain Raylene? I will have that compass. I will know why my brother was murdered going stupidly into a hurricane. And then I will rip Gregor's head from his shoulders and stick it up the hawk's ass. Now all of you, get out of my sight! And he turns, the doors open, guards, Raylene's like,
Yes, again, condolences.
Raylene like
Unity with
scoops into Cathard's arm and is like, I promise you, if you make it out of here, it's all the sexy times you want. And it's like dragging Cathard out. And the
Didn't we
4
be
of
the
you,
last one to leave?
Your brother was a good man. He was a great captain. And I'm sorry he's
just
gone.
shut up. Shut up. And you watch as Raylene drags Cathard
I'll
out.
find you a compass. You gotta go get him a
The
compass.
rest of you?
I leave so quickly I just disappear.
Okay. Omni?
What was that all
I'm
about?
backing out of the room, noticing Jen isn't moving.
Jin?
Jin takes his time getting up. And he stares Thorvald in the face. And gives him a mocking, noble 3/4 bow. And then just walks out.
As you walk out, you hear it's nice to know one of you had balls. And then you and Omni kind of back out, the door slams. Everybody out in the waiting room just has this look on their face like, Jesus fucking Christ. And the
I'm waving at them.
scribes,
Hello.
the scribes are looking at each other, the guards, everybody just quickly disappears. The peg-legged woman.
He's looking for his compass.
Jesus Christ, Cathon, shut up. And she kind of waves her hand
I'm
in front of you.
attached to my head, and he wants a compass. I I want to keep my head.
Just random side note. Do we get the stuff that we were gonna buy from the blacksmith by any chance?
I think they were just regular weapons, but
I mean, you could certainly try to go back and see what's going on there if you want.
I mean, did the guards take them into Thorvold's office?
Gatharn, give me a
'Cause
wisdom saving throw with disadvantage, please.
they'd all been dismissed, and I didn't know if they were if they had like set the wares down or if they like took them with them, because we definitely want that stuff.
I mean, as far as you know, they were left there. But as far as you know, Barnes runs that place, and as far as you know, the other smiths work for him. I mean, it's totally up to you. What'd you get, Gatharn?
Hold on, I forgot I had. So I got a 14.
Raylene has successfully charmed you.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
She said sexy times, and I'm already high.
That
And
was
she,
it. He was into it.
yeah, and she looks at you and goes, "Be quiet, please." So, I did not intend for you to meet Thorvald this way. Could you explain to me exactly what happened?
yeah. This idiot decided to sell one of his friends. Turns out, this idiot
Gotcha.
decided to sell one of his friends. Turns
Raylene
out
kind
it's a
of,
big
yeah, Raylene
other
kind of like
conspiracy.
leaves Gatharn's side and lets him sit down in a overstuffed chair and walks over. This idiot's friends. I have noticed that during the nights you are, how shall we say, more confident. Are you two people, Jin?
the one.
So, what you're saying is you were playing a practical joke on old Barnes?
No. He was gonna sell Medi. The only reason why he even came back was because I managed to tug on some heartstrings.
Interesting. Betty, why would Barnes be involved in this conversation? He is a gifted amateur at acquiring information, for sure, but I'm confused as to how all this transpired. What was the impetus of this interaction? I understand what Jin is telling me, but what I'm not understanding is what would trigger the three of you to kill this man so, well, according to the reports, so violently.
Well, your guess is as good as mine on that one. And
Oh, deception
did-
check, you fucking liar.
he did strike first. He basically said that he wasn't going to take no for an answer. So I don't.
You're leaving out, you know that Captain Raylene's a vamp, and you're leaving out that whole conversation, so, yeah.
Flat roll 19.
Interesting. Barnes is not a particularly smart person, or was not a particularly smart person. But I accept what you explained, and I will make an attempt to have a conversation with Thorvald later on. But now, well, skin of your teeth. Skin of your teeth. Thorvald is not one to be trifled with. This is going to be a little bit harder to get your captaincy now, Omni. Not quite sure how I'm going to accomplish this, but I feel that your involvement is necessary with what's coming up. But we have a few days to smooth things over. If you don't mind, I'm going to take my payment now. And she walks over, pulls Gatharn out of the chair, and the two of them make their way out the front door.
Have fun.
Eventually, Gatharn, you and Raylene make it all the way back to the ship, where you are now spending the rest of your afternoon paying the debt.
Jin will grab Medi and Omni by the arm and try to find a private place to talk.
Okay. As you stumble out into the gardens, there's more than enough places to chat. The guards don't seem to really care that you're in the gardens. The main guards in front of the magistrate doors or the headquarter doors, seem like that's the only spot that matters from their perspective. Give me a quick perception check, Jen, just to kind of give you that ability to find something that gives you what you need.
12.
12. There's plenty of benches, copes of jungle-like fauna, gardens of all variety of fruits and other spaces, and other people are taking advantage of these spaces. You can see a nice quiet area that looks like a good space.
No, I want to go to a nice shady space, and there's like a
Okay.
couple standing. Like, move.
Oh, very well.
No.
And they go running off.
I turned
That
to
was
Maddie and
easier
I'm
than I
like,
thought it was gonna be.
honestly, I'm liking this guy. What do you want to talk about?
Medi, you can lie to Raylene all you want. She's not a part of this group. What happened? Why did he want you?
You were there.
No, I wasn't. Why did he want you?
Because I don't know.
Insight check.
Go for it. I'll let you guys resolve it.
Daddy needs some insight, baby. Yeah, boost it up too.
Not necessary.
Oh, well, too late. I already used it. 24.
3.
Oh, jeez. You
I
had
might
like
as
the
well have
confident
casted
like fist
detect
pump.
odds.
Yeah, like, hell yeah. 3.
Yeah, ultimate failure.
Rooting around in her brain.
It's your conversation. Feel free.
You're gonna keep lying to us?
I mean, I also questioned why you were going to sell me or he was going to sell me. I don't know how to differentiate.
You're gonna have to
I'm really
talk to
not
him
sure how
about
that
that.
works.
I don't know.
Because it's daytime.
But it's a spooky dream.
Okay, she's obviously deflecting Omni. So, are you not a little bit curious to why one of your crewmates was nearly kidnapped, vamp napped, fang napped, whatever?
Dang
I don't think it's some
Ooh.
kind of exotic dentist wants her fangs.
Yeah, in a
mean-
little glass jar.
He didn't necessarily have any interest in you. So one would assume that it's not necessarily a lack of life thing. But she is the only one of us that has that extra type of capabilities.
What a delicate and political way of stating that. Thank you.
We try to be, as unoffensive
Very-
as possible.
Very captain.
He seemed like
I
really
feel like you're
sometimes
about to
you
lie to me, Medi.
Okay.
If you're gonna lie to me, you might as well just stay quiet.
He seemed like he knew somebody that I knew once.
Somebody important to you.
Somebody. It depends on how you define important.
An antagonist to your story.
Something like that.
So what are we gonna do?
Maybe more like progenitor to the story, but
This is partially new information for you as well, Omni.
Don't know what that means, but okay.
Well, I'm thinking she wasn't always.
if you could like not do that,
If you could not bite me,
it was one
that'd be
time.
great. Twice.
Hmm. Once.
It was 2 times.
Once.
Definitely
It's
twice.
Definitely doesn't matter, does it?
I mean, it matters to him. He's pretty still upset about it.
Clearly. Hmm. If
I
it helps you
actually had
taste
this conversation.
disgusting.
Oh yeah, thank you. That definitely
That's
did not hurt my
probably not
feelings.
not
Yeah,
the
definitely
yeah.
did not just immediately hurt my feelings right now.
For all it's worth, Jen, I mean, Captain Raylene would probably think you are a delicious snack. So
Not really. It kind of tastes like death.
I was just, trying to smooth out. Okay.
I know. I'm still kind of mad at whatever entities in that body that was down with just selling me.
At this point,
It
I
seems
don't disagree
very
with
out
selling
of
her right now.
character for Happy Jen.
Oh, those are fighting words.
For some
I
reason,
wish
I'm getting a
Bifarn was here.
feeling.
I would love to make a bet on that one. Whew, that would be exciting to watch.
I'm starting to think that Happy Jin isn't too happy with Medi.
You think?
What did you do to him?
I mean,
Probably didn't treat him particularly well, I'd assume.
He's brought up the biting thing a bunch of times too, so I
He
think
has done
he's
that
still pretty
a
sore on that.
bunch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, she bit this one once, Happy Jin once. Count that as 12.
Oh. So
Yeah,
you
he's
do
kind of doing that.
differentiate yourself separately
see?
from each other. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of doing that thing that, like, one part of your person is the whole. Is all of you. One thing about you defines you, and it's sore. It's a sore subject because that's kind of how it's always been for me, and I don't particularly take kindly to it.
To you biting other people?
To that being the only thing about me that matters.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's the only thing that matters to me right now.
Yeah, I know.
If you keep it under control.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Bitey. What's the plan? Katharn is obviously going to have at least 2 points of exhaustion by the end of the night, so
I don't know, corpse. Do you have any ideas?
Oh, pet names.
yeah.
This is fun.
This is Fangs McFangface. I'm Corpse. I don't think we could use Corpse. I think he's famous on TikTok for something, having like a deep raspy voice.
True.
So.
True. Yeah, I can't infringe
Well,
on that.
I'll take
I
another
don't
name.
know what that
then.
is.
It's this enchanted wind-up clock. You wind it up and it makes a TikTok sound, and then you can transmit yourself. And the clips are around 30 seconds to like a minute long.
Yep.
You watch as a guard walks by and goes, "Oh yeah, like Vine."
Yeah, exactly, like these. Weaved. Magic weaved into the vine.
The fourth wall is just deteriorating in front of our eyes. Is anybody else tempted to ask
Kill
something? Maybe we
Thorvald?
should just go back to the shop.
I'll go back to the
Maybe
shop.
the stuff was taken there, because if there are other blacksmiths that are working there, maybe we could.
I don't know. If my boss was killed for the day, I'd call it a day. No?
I don't think they're going to necessarily want to miss out on profits.
And they had a particular obsession with fangs here.
Yeah, seeing as how we went to Thorvald and are still alive, pretty sure we might be able to get away with getting whatever we want at this point.
Also, what do you want to do? Big dick swing?
Eddie?
Like,
you want to go in swinging?
To where exactly? What?
Back to the blacksmiths.
Oh, yeah. Wait. If I could have that ring.
Oh.
I could just...
So I'm going to dish out all of the goods.
My man.
Hey, Ring of Invisibility goes to Medi, Bracelet of Fire Resistance to Medi, Bracelet of Water Walk to Jin, and he already has the Necklace of Spell Storage.
Yeah.
It will take, we have to attune to it, so let's go get lunch. I'm famished. We need a drink. Let's get a drink.
Oh yeah, Medi, who do you want for lunch? And I start looking out at the garden. That little boy look good to you?
You're horrible.
Just so people know, this started off as trying to go get breakfast.
Yeah, it did.
Are you aware of what you're saying? and you're just gonna.
Oh, undoubtedly, I am 100%
Okay.
aware of what I'm
And
saying.
you're still curious why I don't really get along with Jin, or just
So if one of
Just
us has
Jin.
a grudge with daytime Jin,
Uh-huh.
mhm.
Do you want to speak with me on behalf, and then I'll mediate between the two of you?
Yeah.
can you do that? Do you guys have
No, I
conversations?
can't. Are you
Oh,
you
I don't.
freaking asinine? Like,
We
how are
don't
you the
know.
captain?
You haven't
You
told
Because
us
everybody
anything
told
about
us.
this. We're just supposed to like
Yeah,
assume and
yeah,
guess.
yeah. Let's go get breakfast.
What?
Yeah.
No, we're trying to deep dive into my background and why they wanted me. Why don't you explain a little bit?
Honestly,
Oh.
I don't think he even knows.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna go with
assuming that
Ami
he
on this
probably
one.
has
I
no
don't even
idea.
know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's my
It's
assumption.
complicated for me. Didn't we have
Yeah.
a conversation with this already, Medi, like a night ago?
Mm-hmm. But I'm not the only one here that could be lying.
So we know daytime Jin is like pretty open book and is pretty easy to read in regards to what he
Mhm.
wants, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't get to communicate with you all that much.
Mhm.
So
Just
What are
take
you
an
talking about?
opportunity.
I'm always around. I'm always here for you,
There's no.
Captain. Ugh, Captain Ami. Yeah.
yeah, you say that with so much disdain in your voice, whereas the other guy
Oh,
seems to actually like it and mean it.
disdain?
Let's go get a drink.
Me? Disdain. Oh,
Betty,
come. Let's go get a drink then.
let's drink.
Let's go take a drink, Captain.
Still not a captain.
So you guys
Own a ship.
stumble out of the garden.
Not a captain.
It's mid morning. It's actually late morning. It's finally approaching afternoon, because of your purchases with Alim, and then making your way over. Hey, Cardi Sideshow, how are you? Thank you for popping by. I appreciate it. So you guys consumed a lot of time between Alim's place, going to the blacksmiths, and then the questioning by Thorvald. So it's definitely noonish. Where are you guys heading off to?
Food and drinks.
Okay.
The diviest of the dives.
Jin, you have spent a little extra time wandering around. You did notice that in the area known as the Den, there was a very divey dive bar called the Flying Key. It looked particularly gross.
Wait till you guys see this place. You're gonna love it. Jin just walks up to the door and he kicks it. I'm back.
There's
Huh?
two people inside, the barkeep and a very passed out goblin at a table. There's literally 4 tables, a barrel on the bar with 2 stools. There is a single window. This place is tiny, smelly. You could see that the barkeep, this orcish individual, is like picking at a plate. What? Do I know you?
That how you greet old friends. Come on.
Well, just because you drink in my filthy establishment, does that make us old friends?
I think that is
I'm
one of
just
the
kidding. I
oldest
remember
forms
you,
of
Jen.
friendship.
Come on in. I've got drinks. And you watch as he, takes some rusty old steins out from behind the bar, puts them on the table. No worry, Jen. I got you covered. That show you put on the other night, well, that was fabulous. The goblin raised its head. Yeah, it was fucking cool. Passes back out. There's a splat of vomit.
Show?
Yeah, that's my old buddy Rutherford. He comes here every now and again.
What show did you put on?
Hmm?
You said you put on a show.
Yeah. You wouldn't be able to handle it, Captain.
You performing
it's-
now, Jin?
It's not your type of show.
You play
If
the
you
lute?
can't-
The lyre?
Those
the
are
drum?
whores. Those are whores' instruments, and I am insulted you would insinuate such.
He plays the flute
Yaz
made of
flute?
skin.
The dermal flute.
Thermal
Ah,
flutes.
Dermal flute.
here he's
Oh.
quite the master.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
you
it's
would
maybe
sink
it's
to
just
such
singing.
low jokes, Captain, especially amongst 3 friends. It's a shame.
Don't know
I've
about
had
the friend
different
part.
hopes for you. Well, now, Fangs, just because I made a joke or two at your expense, no need to get a little testy.
I like that one, Fangs. That's actually pretty good.
I know, right? There's like some mystique and sexy
Yeah.
in the name. Like,
And it's actually a part of her name already.
It is actually. It's
Yeah.
very close to a nickname that I already have.
Why I kind of shake my head and never mind. Ah,
kind of a gift I have. I'm very good at naming. Like, this is Fangs, and this is.
Hey, Omni, he has one gift. Found it.
Oh, I see what kind of morning we're gonna have, and
yeah,
Jin just drains the
this is
sign.
good so far. This is it's like watching the racquetball go back and forth. It's the tennis
Eventually
match of, like, witty banter.
Eventually, the orc wanders over. Here you go. Tosses down a plate of bread, cheese, and meats.
The most exquisite that the Revels has to offer, my friends, is right here.
Yeah, we're
Right
top notch. 5-star we is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sniff some of the meat and see if it's poisoned.
It's just old and rancid, not poisoned.
Okay, just checking.
So,
Hey, Rutherford,
yeah,
toss a piece of meat at him.
passes out back on the table again. Splat
Watch,
of vomit comes out.
We play this little game, Omni, and I cut it like a thin slice of cheese. Face is 20 points. Limbs are 5 points a pop. But if you get it on his it's 50 points. And I just toss a piece of cheese at Rutherford.
He watches the orc just starts laughing as all of you settle into a game of cheese toss at the goblin from Jin. Gatharn, it's been an interesting couple of hours for you. Captain Raylene is fast asleep next to you. You're in her bed. There are no guards.
Where I've been charmed.
You are no longer charmed.
No, but where I have been charmed.
Where you have been. You're no longer under the influence of the alchemical shroom tastings and other stuff that you sampled. Unfortunately for you, you are completely sober. It feels like it's around noonish, maybe a little later. You're in the main captain's quarters. The door is shut and locked. The windows are open. You can hear the bell tones of the harbor outside. You can see a series of 4 or 5 bookshelves. The main captain's table that you remember having meals at. There are maps laid out on the table. You can see great stacks of sheafs of documents and parchments stacked all around. You can see casually spare clothing kind of heaped into a big kind of like steamer trunk chest of sorts. There's many paintings hanging around. You can see where her dual pistols and rapier is hanging off the series of hooks. There's just everything you'd expect and that you kind of remember from being here before after getting in the fight with Labash. But currently, she seems asleep and not really moving, just snoring blissfully.
The books, I just want to see what the titles are.
Okay, you get up. You walk over to the bookshelves. Give me an investigation check.
14? Yeah, 14.
Okay. There's a variety of books. There's many kind of gazetteer-like books, flora and fauna books of a bunch of different atolls and islands throughout the greater Lucidian Sea. There are at least 3 books together that talk about the history, the lore, and the flora and fauna of Barnacle Island, the island that you're familiar with. You eventually come across a book called The Lore of Copper Joe. You eventually come across books about cartography, the understanding of writing, making maps. You come across all manner of books that kind of lead you to believe she's clearly studying something.
I'm going to open up the book of Copper Joe because I keep hearing the damn name. I still don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Okay.
And people keep talking about a compass.
Which is
It's-
amazing because you had full-on conversation with the dude.
Never asked him his name.
Nope. That's so good.
As you begin to read this book about Copper Joe, it feels more fable and legend and fiction than nonfiction from your perspective. But you're one of those rare intelligent types, and you begin to kind of absorb the content.
I put
Copper
two and
Joe-
two together about like the fact that he had a copper jaw.
Yeah, I mean, you get the feeling that's probably where he got his nickname from.
Well, because the skull I talked to had a copper jaw.
Correct, and you eventually find the story about how he got that copper jaw. It was with a fight with a Marquisian fleet where he was outnumbered 50-1, but somehow managed to sink all 50 ships and unscathed, with the exception of a very extensive amount of damage done to his face, causing him to have a prosthetic copper jaw, replacing his regular ambulatory jaw. Evidently, he was the last great pirate of a very old age when the Clovis Conclave was in the process of asserting itself out amongst the Lucidian Sea, establishing rights, establishing control, forcing those to flee that were not interested in becoming part of the Clovis Conclave. And it is said that Copper Joe was the last one to fight back. And he was one of the last great pirates. There are many paragraphs and chapters about his uncanny knowledge of the wind and the windage, ability to chase down ships that should have been faster than him, his charismatic ability to draw hundreds to him, his unbeatable ability in combat, almost as if he knew precisely where everybody was. Give me an insight check really quick.
So what you're saying is Jin could be the next Copper Joe because he has a busted jaw.
18.
I mean, when you put 2 and 2 together, you get 33. You find a couple interesting graphical representations, Copper Joe. Being back at the burial cairn and remembering some of the understanding of what he was, who he was, it is incredibly rare for Goliaths to take to the sea. For the most part, they stick to land, they stick to the deep north, or they stick to the mountain ranges, especially the Dunrock mountain range. That's where they prefer to reside, or in the Great Prairies of the Sirios range as well. So for you, it strikes you a fancy that Copper Joe was a Goliath. That just seems amazing to you. But it's an entire book dedicated to his intelligence, his abilities, and at the end of the story, it is said that he fell in battle. He was secretly placed in an unknown tomb that no one knows about, and the legend has it that his undead visage roams the open Lucidian Sea. And then you close the book. And you hear a voice behind you. Anything of interest? I wasn't aware that you, knew how to read. You look back to see the naked form of Raylene sit up in bed as she's now drinking from a wine glass off to the side.
Me dad thought I should have a well-rounded education.
Your
So,
father,
yes.
tell me about your parentage. You're a very interesting person, Gathan. I'm not going to lie. Your size ratio, was quite fascinating, but I'm wondering, how does a gnome...
Disproportionate.
You do know words. I would like to know how a gnome and an orc cross paths.
Oh, they were adventuring companions.
Oh. So they're still alive?
Oh yeah, I go visit them every freaking midwinter.
Oh. Wow. Well, most people that are in my service usually have some kind of dark secret or some kind of reason why they fled from home. So why did you leave?
When you're raised on stories of adventure and you're stuck out on homestead, you kind of want to go see the world. So I did.
Interesting. I think I lost Maddie.
You did.
I'm back.
Back, bitches.
That was weird. I still don't have you. Give me a minute and I'll get her back shortly. Your camera's off.
Yes.
There she is.
Try to click into the actual chat, and the Age of Arcanum video is right below it.
Yeah, I do that all the
That's
time.
precisely what happened.
Yep, I do it all the time. At some point, I'm going to get all that shit reorganized, so it's a lot easier. So
Yeah. So any question she asks, I tell her the whole shebang.
So eventually,
Father's a warlock, made a deal with the Archfey. And because of the wording, well, I was not given to the Archfey, who then stepped in as my godfather because, well, still wants me, but will honor the pact he made with my father, who is now my mother.
So it could have gone very differently then, yes?
Oh, yeah, especially if somehow my father was able to give birth to me.
Never mind. I'm going to get dressed now. Can I ask you a question, Gathon?
Sure.
Do your friends have that compass? Do you think they have that compass? If you think they do,
they would have told me.
Are you sure?
We've gone through a lot. I don't see why they would lie or not tell me we got a compass. I keep bringing up a compass. They never mention it. Granted, a lot of stuff tends to happen whenever that compass gets mentioned. So usually by that time, fists are flying and the conversation ends.
She's buttoning up the blousy pirate or blousy captain shirt that she's putting on. Keep forgetting.
Or I'm really, really drunk.
I mean, you guys aren't pirates aren't pirates yet. The captain's like buttoning up her blouse and pulling on her equipment. And well, here's the thing, Gathon. I've noticed that you seem to be incapable of lying. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So, if your friends had a secret that they didn't want to tell, why would they tell you? Because you're incapable of lying.
Because we're friends?
No, Gathon, because you're incapable of lying.
Yes, but as long as I don't have to say anything, I can't lie.
So, I'm going to take the harmless approach. Mostly because, well, this was fun, and I don't necessarily want to lose out on it in the future. And if Thorvald were to find out that you and your friends were hiding this, well, he would string your necks, search your innards, and eventually find what he's looking for. It's his way. I do not wish to get in the way of this. So, let me tell you what we think this thing does, based on all of this glorious research that I've been accomplishing for good old Thorvald.
It lets Copper Joe find exactly what he's looking for.
A little bit more than that. It is said that whoever is the possessor of this compass and is attuned to it, they can locate any ship on the open sea as long as they're familiar with it. Now imagine that, Gathon. Imagine that you have a spy network that writes every description of every ship and every employment along the Menagerie Coast and out amongst the Lucidian Sea. And at even given point, you know exactly where they are. I mean, how could you not be the greatest pirate of all? Now, there's a reason why Tharivol wants this. I'm not entirely sure, but he'll pay well. A ship's reward, for sure. I've heard tales of 50, 100,000 gold. There are other interested parties. I believe the Hawk has already given his interest. By the way, steer clear of Carney if you're wise.
She can't hear me, can she? Testing. I'm gonna get that other ear.
Cathan. Connie is the weaker of the sisters, but I assure you, if you run into all three of them at the same time...
Run!
Yes, it will be a difficult prospect, to say the least. Did the Hawk offer anything to your friends in regards to the compass?
No. He never even mentioned the compass.
Was this before or after you left the dinner party?
During the dinner party. I was a little distracted, but I don't think he mentioned anything. I didn't actually talk to the Hawk. I was talking to Carney about techniques of being a bosun. But I don't recall anything being meant. The only time anything got brought up is when Carney got me by myself. And then she started asking about a compass and Copper Joe. And at the time, I didn't know who that guy was.
Oh, but you know now, correct?
Oh, yeah, I pieced 1 and 2 together. Apparently, I was talking to his skull.
Talking to his skull?
Oh, yeah, we talked. Went into the ship. I jumped into, like, this void because it was freezing. And there was a floating skull. He was a very jovial fellow.
So you actually entered into the frozen tomb itself?
Yeah, how do you think I got my hammer?
Oh, I imagined that you merely acquired that from the ship. Most don't know much about the frozen tomb.
Oh, yeah, that's... in fact, you saw all that hair? Yeah, that was my encounter with, like, a demonic skull. Don't recommend. I think I'm older now.
Well, Cathan, this has been a very enlightening conversation. Do feel free to share this with your friends if you choose.
Of course. Why would I lie to them?
Now, as they say, fuck off. I have things to do.
Me too. I need to get more loot so I can go buy more potions. By the way, apothecary lady, she's going to be dropping off one of my packages.
Oh, really? So I'm your mailing destination now, am I?
Well, yeah. This is my home.
That's an interesting perspective. Now, fuck off.
I leave.
And as you leave, you watch as a very hippy-dippy halfling comes skipping up onto the deck of the ship. Oh, goodbye.
Hey!
And she races over and hands you the bag and clasps your neck and gives you a big old wet kiss and goes running off the ship.
Wait! I got more monies.
She's already gone.
Damn it. I'm hungry.
There was such an obvious opportunity to make a joke about package delivery.
I know.
Just waiting
You
on you.
You gotta avoid the obvious ones. You gotta go for the subtlety.
Do you?
Yeah, because that's Gathar's
No.
style.
Cathar is subtle sometimes.
Yeah, subtle like a bag of bricks.
Exactly. So subtle I haven't noticed it, you know?
Yeah. Believe me, the
Someone
guy that
running
get hits
around
with a bag of
naked on
bricks has
drugs
no
all the
idea
time.
what hit him.
So back
we
to the...
we were short resting and attuning to our items this last hour.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You can go ahead and take a short rest at the Flying Key. I don't think, Gathar, you need one, but you can take one if you'd like to. Okay.
I am also going to get the rest of my gems because they're easier to carry.
Okay.
And check on my shark fin soup or my shark stew.
Okay. You make your way back to the cook's quarters. Medi, Omni, and Jin, are you drinking or just sipping?
57 bottles of beer on the wall.
Yeah.
57 bottles of beer. You take
not
one
doing
down, you pass
anything.
it around.
Is Jin able to get drunk? Like,
No.
Okay.
It just
Omni's sipping and conversing.
Of course, now I can't
We
see
need to
Jin
figure
anymore.
out
I just
what
see
is
a big
going
red
on.
moon.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Oh, there. Well,
There he is.
well,
Hello.
Oh, he's
Yes,
got the ring of
greater
invisibility.
So you guys have handed out the items to that were acquired, taking the time to attune to them and study them and understand them a little bit more in depth. Afternoon gives way to late afternoon or mid-afternoon at this point. Now the crowd's beginning to build, and there's at least a couple dozen people in this small space now. A half-orc, some goblins, some other sweaty-smelling sailors, and you can tell this is a very rough crowd, and they prefer to be off the beaten path. They don't necessarily want to be involved in the regular part of the Revels at this point. And the crowd definitely shows it.
So what
Should
exactly
we-
do we want to do from here?
I think we should go back and try and get some of them weapons.
Okay, fair point. Did we ever manage to piece together what the flag does? Flag itself. Of our good old friend CJ.
The only thing you recall is that it was definitely magical, but you weren't sure what kind of magic it was related to. It felt like a relic. Even Medi picked up on that when she was examining it down in the tomb.
What do you mean even? I feel
Well,
like
I mean,
a
if we're gonna be honest here, right? Omni Fangs here is not the
I'm not the problem. Yeah. Excuse me.
True.
I have
out of
20
all of us,
intelligence.
I don't know that. I don't know what that means. So what? She beats me at a
No,
game of Dragon
no.
Chess every single time we played. That doesn't
Yeah,
mean anything. She's
That was
really good at
at
Dragon Chess.
Jason.
Yeah, that was
not
at me.
Vince.
Oh,
That was at me.
she's just really good at Dragon Chess.
I mean, honestly,
As Jin's resetting the grimy ass Dragon Chess board. Like,
if
I promise. Bet on me this time, I will win.
Medi's like holding a bag of copper skulls.
4 moves later, she can't win every single time. It just doesn't make any
trying to be
sense.
obvious that time.
She
I've
does.
played the same-
Statistically, I should win at least. Well, are you cheating?
I was
in this
literally
honorable
running
game
the
of
same
Dragon
pattern
Chess,
the
you're
past
cheating?
4 games.
You're cheating in this
It's the
this
same
most honorable
pattern,
game.
so that you could catch. So I started to feel bad for you.
I
for a
flipped the
second.
board over.
we are at
Okay.
Pirate Revels, and you are thinking about honest games.
Are you Pirate
Privateers.
Rebels yet?
Privateers. We're reveling
well.
with privateers,
Well,
sir. Understand?
Gatharn's
the
reveling with
terminology.
whoever's going to revel with them.
Regardless.
Did you guys hear Gatharn?
who wants to be the door kicker open?
Ah, here, let's go. 56 bottles of beer in the wall. 56. Just toss a beer bottle against the wall. All right, I'm leaving. I'll be back tomorrow night.
Okay, see ya. Thank you for coming. Your friends, too. It's nice to have a little bit of class in here. Thank you.
I bow.
When I'm in the
Pay for
kitchen,
our food.
I owe
How
you a
much do we
free
owe you?
show.
Oh, don't worry. Jin will take care of it. He always does.
How does confused? Okay.
I don't know how much we consumed, but I just put 2 gold on the table just in case.
Fair
You
enough.
know, because Jin might die in a second. Who knows?
So, guys,
while I'm
You
in
might
the
kill him
kitchen,
at any given point. So,
So you guys step out into the light of the den, the little alleyways of the den. Gatharn, you're in the kitchen.
what kind of seasonings do we have? I'm pretty sure Cookie kept a full stock.
Yeah.
You have lemons or limes?
those
There-
are just the garnishes for the drinks.
all
Like,
the plant varieties and all the seasoning varieties. She had an amazing kit that was in this space.
I'm going to sample each one.
Okay.
I'm looking for the spicy stuff.
Okay. You come across the demon fire pepper. Takes you about 5 minutes to get your breath back. That seems to be the one that you want to use.
Cool. Is it dried and ground, or is it like just...
It's a whole pepper.
Is there a mortar and pestle?
Give me a perception check.
That is an 18. Yep, 18, 14 plus 4.
Yeah, I mean, everything, all the kind of paraphernalia that you need to manage your kitchens here: knives, mortar and pestle, ceramic bowls, wooden spoons, cutlery.
Okay, I'm going to take some of the lemons, squeeze out the juice. Going to take a couple of those peppers.
Okay.
And kind of like mash them in.
Okay.
Until I got like a nice kind of like liquid type deal.
Okay.
And I'm going to put it into a water bottle.
Okay. Give me sleight of hand. Let's make sure you can handle this in the correct portions.
18 plus 3, 21.
Give me intelligence with advantage.
I feel like he's making a weapon without having a weapon.
That is
like
17.
17. And give me a wisdom check for assembly. So the sleight of hand was producing the components. The intelligence was the mixing. Now give me a wisdom for a general ability to put this all together in the manner that you're attempting to.
Oh, that's a dirty 20. I rolled a 19.
Yeah, you perfectly manufactured this the way you were expecting to.
Cool. I am going to stash it on my side as if it was like a standard water bottle, like a water skin.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm sorry, someone just told me that 3 assassins are going to probably be looking for me. I'm not going out there unweaponed. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not going unarmed.
You got 2 of them.
Yep. Oh, and I'm going to take my chain again and use it as a belt.
Fair enough.
And then I'm going to take the 3 diamonds and 2 rubies that I have left. And I'm going to make my way to the money changer and exchange those for copper skulls.
Okay. Make your way to Skull's Walk and Alim's place.
Right.
I'm taking my share of the gems, yes.
Oh, we have a bunch of the like small uncut gems that aren't like the big ones.
So you're going back to Alim's gems because he was the exchanger as well as the ability to...
Yeah, I had 3 of the diamonds and 2 of the rubies are what I have written down in my inventory.
Okay.
So that's what I'm taking.
Okay.
You should have 1,000 like platinum worth of uncut gems.
Oh, see, I didn't write that down.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you have.
I'm taking those.
The large diamonds we were saving because they're 5,000 gold each.
Yeah, no, these are from the original loot pile in Copper Joe's hold, which was like there was 12 rubies that were worth 100 GP a piece, and there was 12 diamonds that were worth 100 GP a piece. We each got 3 of those. That was from Copper Joe's thing.
They're worth 5,000.
Those were the big diamonds. These are like small diamonds.
These are the little pieces that he recovered.
Yeah, these are the little pieces I recovered from Copper Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones you're talking about are what you got from like the whole gambling thing.
No.
Oh.
We'll figure it out later.
We were paid in platinum for that. Yeah. But and then also
then I have no idea where those gems came from.
we had the gold jewelry that was 500 gold a piece, and the black market currency, which we still don't know anything about.
All right, so I take the 1,000 GP worth of uncut gems or platinum of uncut gems,
and head back to Alim's store.
Alim's,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's where you're going.
Trade those in for copper skulls. Basically, I'm taking those, going to apothecary, and I'm gonna submit a request for lesser healing potions and water breathing potions.
Okay. You have quite a bit of those copper skulls if you trade in the whole 1,000 platinum.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
We
so
also
you
have no healer.
Alim's like, good, thank you. And you make the exchange. He hands you the appropriate copper skulls. You make your way over to the apothecary. She spends an inordinate amount of time flirting with you while you put in your order for lesser healing potions. Well,
lesser, medium, and greater. So basically, that way we have a decent amount.
Okay.
Of each.
You could easily spend all of that on the healing potions for sure. You could buy out her whole stock if you wanted to.
That's what I do then.
Okay. So you essentially have 20 superior healing potions. You have 30 greater healing potions. And you have 50 lesser healing potions. And
So basically, we never have to worry about any.
We're not going to die ever.
Yeah, ever. We're good. We're solid, guys.
Yeah, thanks for jinxing that, you shits.
Thorvald just psychically punched me in the jaw for 30-something points. Okay,
I think we're about to get ourselves killed because we're not going to get those potions.
I mean, unless you're saying we, as in like the royal we of Omni we, where you're just talking about you, then yes, it's highly possible that you will not die.
Carrying that many potions is difficult, to say the
She'll
least.
deliver up. It's fine.
I'm thinking if you spend like 1,000 gold, you get.
I
like
asked
a free
her
bag
if
of
she
holding,
has
right?
like a magical
That's the promo?
sack, or if she knows
The
of
promo?
someone that sells a magical sack that I could fit all of these in.
She kind of
with the
leans
magical
in. She
sack.
goes, "Oh, poo! Those aren't allowed here. We're not allowed to have those." Seems
Bugger.
old Thorvald had a encounter with two of those combining, and he doesn't allow those to coexist.
Is that how he lost his leg?
We're getting the deep lore.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Amazing.
I either.
That's so great.
What, Thorvald was missing a leg?
All the way up
Again,
to the gym.
Gatharn was high, and I really was not paying attention to most of you guys' conversation because I wasn't there. Just FYI.
Cool.
All right, so I will make my way with the wheelbarrow with all these potions back to the ship.
Basically, it's you and Mary and a invisible servant carrying a large iron box, so that you can safely return these back to Captain Ralene's ship.
All right, so technically we have 51 lesser healing potions because
you bought the one,
already.
yeah. So, Medi, Omni, Jin, you're in the alleyways of the den. What would you like to do?
Making our way to the smithy.
Okay.
Making our way.
So, as you make your way down into where Skulls Walk and the Marquis District route and the Galley's Way all meet at the Guildmaster's headquarters, you traverse down into the Marquis District. The three of you give me perception checks, please.
6.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
Just a quick question. The ship doesn't have a quartermaster, right?
No, does not.
But we have a bosun. So I'm going to
Correct.
start taking on the role of a quartermaster.
Okay. Considering how you spent your afternoon, that shouldn't be too difficult. Medi, what'd you get?
Also 6. Me and Jen.
Yeah, that's twice in a row tonight that you guys...
Y'all just keep glaring at each other like...
Omni, you're kind of leading this trio, so you're slightly in front of everybody else. And you catch sight of the blacksmith first, or the smithy. There's no one working it. It has been roped off. There are at least 4 Thorvald guards and Revel guards there. There seems to be a person, they look like a fire genasi, and they seem to be examining things, taking a look at things. They walk into the interior of the back building, come out carrying a small bag. they kind of talk to a couple of the guards. They begin to write and take notes, and there's definitely an investigation of some sort going on. Not that this place would demand it, but there's probably some semblance of decorum that's dictating this approach.
Can I look behind us and see if I notice if we have a tail or not?
With that perception roll, you do not see anyone following you.
Okay.
That you can see.
Omni just kind of stops in the middle, so Jin like bumps across his shoulder. He keeps walking towards the smithy.
Honestly, we're curious to see how this turns out. Let's let him go. Betty, you want to try out that new ring? And
Yeah, sure do. I just want to say, if you ever want to talk about it, we can. And I turn invisible.
She vapes. Omni, you watch as Jin just keeps walking. As you step up, Jin, the guard has a very goofy and kind of placid look on their face. And, oh, no, I'm sorry, you can't come in right now, man. They're busy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I don't know, something about trying to figure out what happened.
I know.
The other guard.
Did you hear the story?
they totally went to the mushroom person.
The other guard leans in. Yeah. Shh. Be quiet. Yeah, quiet.
Did you guys hear what happened in the morning?
Oh yeah, we heard. Yeah. In fact, the guy that
Are you guys the two brave heroes that stopped the whole thing?
No.
No, I think you guys are. That's the story that's going around the Revels. Two gentlemen described very much like you yourselves came in and rescued the entire operation. Saved the entire smithy from losing men.
I don't remember doing that, but Alpham over here has been sent by Tharivol himself to figure out what happened. You watch as the other two guards wander over. They have very kind of placid looks on their faces. Their eyes are strangely docile. Yeah, you gotta move, man. You can't be here. Go.
Oh, like right here? I take one step to the left. What about now?
No, you have to leave, please. Just leave. Just leave.
Uh-huh. Are you guys not having a good time right now?
Medi, as you use this distraction to easily get by Jin having this weird conversation, Medi, give me an insight check. The dice aren't loving you today.
No,
that's two nights in a row that they haven't been loving you.
Yeah, no, for real.
Back to back.
So the Medi die I put away because it's rolled 2 4s. This one I got a 9 total.
That would be high enough because this is not a difficult DC for you. As you pass by, you like awkwardly stare at one of the guards, realizing that he's glamored.
But I don't know.
Like charmed?
No, glamored.
Like
Fae?
Vamp.
What is that?
High level
glamored.
Like high level vamp glamored. It's a form of charm that vamps use, but they specialize in this.
I thought that you're implying vampires, but I just wanted to be very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Before approaching, Omni would slink into the darkness of an alley and shapeshift into a different visage, that of a guard, and matching their attire.
Fair enough.
Kind of slink and go over to them as well, see what he overhears.
Okay. Medi, you pass by. Jin's distraction actually helps you. The guards rolled with the disadvantage in being able to hear your footsteps. I rolled a 3. I'm not even going to bother with the stealth check. They are completely unaware.
I have a question real quick. I know Omni's doing something. Would I know if a high-level vampire can see invisibility?
You know that they're capable of perceiving invisibility to a certain degree. A extremely high level one has no problem with a version of true sight. In some cases, they are bestowed with true sight as they age over time.
Good.
Because there are certain things that your history has pulled into your reality.
Granted me, that's what I was hoping that you might say. Do I have any feeling that that might be the case right now and I'm about to get eaten?
No, this feels strange. It doesn't...
Okay.
Part of your thought process is, why would anyone of that high level be here already? And there's something else about this, so you're not sure if they're linked, but they might be. So you pass by the guards. The door is slightly open. You can see the fire genasi with its cloak pulled up, wearing very much blackened attire. It seems to be sprinkling some kind of powder on the ground as you stand there and watch. It waves its hand, and you watch as translucent images begin to appear as the memory spell is oscillating and replaying the entirety of the event that transpired in here. You watch as the fire genasi begins to... This is most interesting. Most.
Can I do something very dumb?
You're usually quite adept at that, sure.
Thank you so much. You described him as like laying powder out to do this spell.
Correct.
Can I try to like blow some of it away to like disrupt it?
Sure. Give me a stealth check to make sure he just doesn't notice you do it.
There we go. 22.
Yeah. You watch as the image blurs and kind of shakes apart momentarily. And damn it, the winds in this place are so much everywhere. And he turns and he shuts the door with you on the inside. That will be better. Now, let me see what else I can see in this place. And he begins to sprinkle more powder, and the entire event plays out in front of you.
Prestidigitation.
Okay.
To blow away the powder? I'm greater invisible, so it shouldn't break it.
Yeah, you're fine doing that. Once again, give me stealth with advantage. As long as he doesn't notice you, you can pull these things off. Oh, he ain't gonna notice you.
Walking on the walls.
Unless you rolled like shit, because I just rolled like shit. So
I'm hoping my very high bonus will save me 11.
I rolled a 12. He turns to look precisely where you're standing, and he cocks his head, and he reaches into his cloak, and he's about to throw something in your direction.
I try to run away, scramble behind something.
Okay, give me another stealth check.
Okay.
Just a regular one this time.
The walls!
I'm edging my way around the outside to see if I can look in through like a window.
Fair enough. Jin, you're still carrying on the conversation? Okay.
Yeah.
Jin, I keep forgetting you're Dark Jin right now. Give me an insight check. Omni, give me perception while you're trying to peer in through a window. Maddie, what'd you get?
Why did I not give this person proficiency in stealth? That's what I want to know. Because this is the person that it makes the most sense on. Anyway, 15.
15? Rolled a 14. Just as you dip behind one of the small stacks of crates, you grab onto a goblet that almost falls over, and he casts like a translucent metallic powder right where you were standing, and it just falls harmlessly to the ground. And he goes, must be my imagination. Thought I saw something. And he goes back to investigating and examining the space. Omni, what'd you get?
Do I recognize his accent? Just real quick, sorry.
Definitely Zemian of some sort.
Cool.
19 perception.
19. You're looking inside of a window that's slightly akimbo and kind of cracked in it and slightly open to vent air into the space. You can see some kind of cloaked figure in there doing something, but it's not clear. But there doesn't seem to be any kind of tussle or any sign that Medi's been seen. Jin, what'd you get?
A natty 1.
Yeah. You're completely engrossed in this fake conversation.
I understand that I have to move, guys, but just look at this.
All 4 of them go.
Did I see any of the weapons that we had in there?
No, you couldn't
Like,
see that
returned?
well.
Okay.
No.
Are they guarding a cart or something? Like, where was the items being dragged out of the place being placed into?
These 4 guards are guarding the smith. Originally, the weapons and everything were just simply put into boxes in the space of the smithy. And then it's been roped off, shut down. The furnace has been quenched. And there's just no activity going on here other than these 4 guards standing about, keeping an eye on things. Medi, your hiding spot seems to hold. Invisibility is still looking good. He eventually comes over to the image of the dead Brennus, and you watch as he kneels down and hovers over it, and he waves his hand, and you hear a click. As you hear that click, off to your right, a false panel opens, and you watch as the Genasi gets up. Ah, good. At least you weren't that stupid, fool. And he begins to walk in the direction of the open panel.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Is this man a vampire?
You don't get that vibe.
Just checking.
There's something else even weirder about this
like that.
individual.
Not like that at all.
And he gets from the kneeling position, walks over, and for the first time as you're going away, and he's walking towards you,
I'm definitely following him.
Yeah, you're kind of doing this, right? You're kind of staying out of his way while following him at the same time. You see his face. His eyes are lifeless, just deep, shining purple eyes, lifeless. You see a corroded and malformed face with tissue that is not like formed at all. Its tongue is just black. You watch as a worm crawls out from underneath its cloak and into its neck and disappears. And you watch as he goes over to the panel. Ah, at least this is intact. And he opens the panel, reaches in, pulls out a small gem with one hand and a book with the other hand. Puts it in. You watch as he looks right and left, and his visage change into a small little girl. And he quickly, Omni, you watch as a small child climbs out the window and begins to run into the crowd.
I'm following that person.
You watch as the window mysteriously clatters and opens again. You get the feeling that maybe Medi's invisible form has crawled out.
So there's nobody inside now?
No, it's empty.
Whew, I'm gonna crawl on into that window.
Okay. As you crawl into the window, give me a stealth check. Medi, give me perception. Keep an eye on this guy. Or this small child now.
26.
Okay. You easily just kind of take advantage of Jin and climb inside and land inside the space. Jin.
I'm going to change my form to look like the cloaked figure that was in there.
You didn't really have a good vision of him. So as far as...
Right, but just like the overall like image of what...
Correct.
If a guard looks in, they'll kind of like see
Jin,
similar.
The 4 guards around you suddenly begin to shake their head, and then they look at you and go, "Who the fuck are you? And what the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here. This is cordoned off for a reason, you shite. Move it."
You're absolutely right, sir. I am so confused as to why I'm here.
One of them shoves you. Move it now.
As he tries to shove me, I use impeccable footwork.
Okay.
Just slide out of the way. You're absolutely right. No need for violence, though. and he gets going.
Okay. As you move, there's no sign of Medi. There's no sign of Omni. It's just you standing there as you walk back down the Marquis District way.
I'm not gonna go too far. I'm
Okay.
gonna go to an alleyway, a dark one. Look around. Is anybody looking in this particular alleyway?
Give me a perception check.
All right, you rolled a 1 this time, but I believe in you, bud. Motherfucking piece of shit. You're going into
I love it
11.
when you yell at your dice. It's so Vince.
11.
11. The guards eye you as you disappear into the alley.
Oh, they're just eyeing me.
Yeah.
I-
And as you
with that
kind of
11
like disappear in the alley, Omni, you hear from outside the space, you heard that whole confrontation. They were loud, they shoved, and were very boisterous towards Jin. And then one of the guards goes, "Go check inside. Make sure that shite didn't steal anything." And you hear footsteps and a hand on the handle of the door.
So, was all of this happening in the main room that we first had walked into, or is this in the back room where the
back room where you had the encounter with the individual,
Gotcha.
with Barnes, and killed Barnes.
Gotcha.
And that door, that handle is now clicking.
I'm gonna quickly move into the main section where we saw the gem that was kind of like suppressing magic.
Okay.
And see if I can Misty Step up there and get it.
Okay. Give me a stealth check and then give me acrobatics with advantage.
19 for stealth.
Has anybody ever split the party 4 ways before? This is always fun.
Yes, I have actually.
It's fun. I like it.
We all think we're all very capable. We
Clearly.
have a lot of faith in ourselves, except
Clearly.
darn. No offense, buddy.
No idea anything malicious or anything like that's going on.
I
We're
mean,
at the Revel.
you're just happily going back to the ship with about an
It's like, I
island's
did such a good job
with an
my island of
island's
potions.
fortune of potions.
And he just got laid, so so
That's
far
true too. It's a good day.
Gatharn is reveling it up.
21 for acrobatics.
Okay, what'd you get for stealth?
19.
19. You watch as the guard comes in, you quickly shift out of that room and Misty Step up. You see where the stone is placed in the very center of the space. And you grab it, tuck it, and kind of land. The guard briefly looks around, shrugs his shoulders, and heads back out the door. You hear him, everything looks fine.
Now that I'm in the regular room with all of the stuff that's normally there, I'd like to do a little shopping.
Give me an investigation check.
I want to see if whatever the nicest, fanciest stuff looks to be that we were wanting to get anyways. If I notice any of the stuff that was actually the stuff that we wanted, that we had selected, I want to try and grab that. But
Fair
otherwise, same types of things: rapier, pistol, dagger, all that good stuff. Investigation. Not great. 15.
50. There are no weapons here at all. Completely devoid of weapons, armor. Just an empty room now. There are great marks on the ground as if crates have been dragged off.
That was fun. Cool, got the gem.
Medi, what'd you get for perception?
Stick that in the bag.
Okay, so hear me out.
This is gonna be great.
I know you said
this
perception.
This is a shite roll for sure.
Hang on. Can I tap into Hunter's Bane instead to make it survival to track a Fey Fiend or undead?
Oh, he's definitely undead. Yes, absolutely. I'm totally fine with that. You blood hunters are difficult for me. And I know you're watching, Alyssa. It's true. That's why I call you a barbarian.
Then that would be an 18.
18. You lose track from just the barest of moments. I rolled a 17 for stealth. But you see the pigtails and the very kind of like simple childlike attire just begin to move quickly, and then you watch as they dip down into an alley. You continue to follow.
Okay, I'm gonna do something real messed up. At least from an outside observer's observation.
Is it going to be vulgar?
Yeah. I'm gonna use a bonus action to imbue a weapon with my Crimson Right. And I'm gonna make it lightning damage because this person was maybe a fire genasi, and fire maybe won't help. I'm gonna throw a dagger at him.
You go chase after them?
Yep, I'm gonna throw a dagger at him.
Okay.
For a very specific reason.
Yeah, go ahead and... Wow. Okay. Give me a d20. Roll to hit.
You'll see. Oh, God. 21.
You watch at the last minute as the child turns into the alley and the dagger sticks into the wall.
Cool. I'm burn a brand of castigation so I know where they are at all times. That lasts until I dismiss it.
Okay. You feel the arcanic effect of them in the alley. You feel them open a door, and you feel them open and close a trapdoor in a floor, and it now feels like they're underground.
Okay, cool. If it matters, the damage is an 11.
It didn't hit her.
What?
It stuck into the wall. It went right by her.
What?
Yeah, he said it went boom right into the wall.
Yeah.
And
So 21.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that at all.
Oh, yeah. 21 missed.
Oh, yeah. 21 missed.
So I thought maybe the act of throwing it allowed you to still do that. So
no.
Take all that back. Your dagger
Shannon's
is in the
face
wall.
reminds me of Grog when he fought those dragons when they first landed in Yuman, and he's like, a 19 doesn't hit?
Okay, well, yeah, I continue to follow her then.
Okay. And I'll say you at least see her dip through a door of a small building in the alleyway.
Gross. Okay. Yeah, I just continue to follow her.
Okay. You open the door. You hear a trap door shut because you're still invisible. And then there's a trap door in the floor. It shuts.
Does it appear to be trapped?
Give me an investigation check.
15.
It feels locked.
I'm trying to open it.
Give me athletics or strength.
Please have that poison that knocks her out.
There's no obvious lock. It feels locked.
Got it. Cool. I'm going to just try to shove it open then.
Okay.
Please have the poison that knocks people out for 7 days.
Shut your mouth. 30-20.
30-20. There's a cracking and banging and rattling noise as you pull up on it. It feels like it's barred multiple times from underneath. It doesn't quite give way, but you get the feeling spending another 10 minutes or so might finally kind of get it open.
Nope. Misty step. Just down. I don't know how far down I'm going.
Holy
an unoccupied space that you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
I mean, you could do it blind. I'm more than happy to let you do it blind.
Yellow!
More than happy.
Love for you to try it blind.
Oh, maybe did I crack?
Roll 46 and take out the lowest.
Hang on. You said that I could tell that it was barred. Is there even like a crack in it?
No, not that you could tell.
Fine. Misty step 5 feet down.
Okay. You misty step 5 feet down, and you end up in mid-air. You are currently falling.
Perfect.
And as you fall, and fall, and fall, and fall.
At this point, you should fall past the child.
Is there a ladder? Or is it just a hole?
Give me perception really quick as you're like free falling and you're like grabbing onto the walls on either side.
21.
Yeah, you eventually clasp onto a rusted, disjointed ladder, and you look up. Can't see any light or anything. You can't even see the trapdoor anymore. You look down, and there's just like rusty old rungs below you, and rusty old rungs above you. There's no sign of the little girl yet, as far as you can tell.
I want to keep moving.
Now,
Keep moving.
Okay.
What? The
this-
ladder, is it like bolted into a wall? Or is it like for hanging?
It looks like it's bolted. It's metal. It's like metal iron rot rungs that have just rusted over a very long period of time.
I'll hop off the ladder and run down the wall with spider climb.
Okay. You finally get to about the 200-foot depth, and your feet find moist bottom.
Gross.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Shannon's band name.
Ew.
Moist bottom. I fucking hate you, Vince.
Now, out of curiosity, because I have written down in my notes that the shell is actually, the island's actually an ancient dragon turtle shell.
Correct. That would be correct.
Okay,
And you're
just
standing on something very soft and squishy.
Yep.
There's a series of strange tunnels, maybe a dozen or so, that lead away from this point, and kind of like corkscrewing, kind of strange deviations. They look very unnatural, but natural at the same time. It's strange.
I'm gonna continue to keep tracking her.
Okay. Give me investigation. Actually, survival. Give me survival. Sorry.
24.
24. You find a small set of footprints leading down one of the tunnels. Keep following her.
Yeah,
Eventually, you stumble into another space. Now, how long does this ring last for? It's greater invisibility, right? 8 hours?
You did not specify.
Well, it's the same as the spell.
Then it would have
If it-
ended a long time
Yeah,
ago.
I think it's a minute for greater invisibility.
But
Yeah,
because
it's a
it's
minute
an
for
item, I
invisibility.
usually put longer times on it. So we'll say 4 hours.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we'll say 4 hours. If it's a high-ranking relic, I usually give it 8. If it's something not quite a relic, I give it 4. So it's kind
While
of
we're on
it's
the
a complete
topic-
it's a complete tease for me to give you a 1-minute inviso ring.
While we're on the topic,
Mhm.
as far as the fly ring, what is the time frame for that?
Stand
And-
by. On the invisibility ring, anything you are wearing or carrying is invisible with you. You remain invisible until the ring is removed, until you attack or cast a spell. So that's the regular ring of invisibility.
Right. She's wearing a greater. The only difference with the greater is that normally it'd be a minute related to the spell, but on my homebrew items, I make up longer because I think that's a total fucking tease to give you something that cool, and it only lasts a minute. Some people call it a combat inviso ring, and that's why it only, lasts that minute, but I don't give a shit. An hour, Omni. An hour.
For fly?
Yep.
Cool.
So, you stumble into a larger cavernous space. You feel the strangeness of the ground kind of squish up beyond your feet. There's more of these kind of like twist and turn tunnels. There's now maybe 30, 40. It's getting harder to count how many there are. But there's a glimmer of light coming from one of them.
Do I feel like that's the way this individual, I'm not going to say she because I don't know anything about this person, went?
I mean, the footprints brought you to this spot. You're not really sure, but maybe.
We should perhaps check and see what everybody else is doing.
All right, so we'll leave you in the chamber for you to figure out what you're doing. Omni, what are you doing?
Well, there's nothing here. I have a gem of magic suppression, or so I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the empty or the open window, and first I'll check that room as well, because you said that they closed the door and that they're just like outside guarding it. So
Correct.
now that I'm inside alone,
Give me
I'll
investigation check.
investigate.
Yep. Give me
Yeah,
investigation.
and I'm looking like behind the counters, like if I notice that thing is open, that they recently like the secret passages and stuff like that for
Fair
any type
enough.
of hidden spots where they would keep magic goods and good things. Natural. Oh damn! It's +0. Natural 20
Yeah.
0.
You do see a open compartment in the wall. You also see that the entirety of this space is covered with a weird kind of metallic dust. Other than that, nothing else of specific interest here.
So Medi almost knocked over a goblet.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some things, but
Cups, plates, dinnerware, tools, just kind of like regular common items. Nothing that looks particularly fancy.
didn't even get a freaking sword. All right, I'll climb out the window
Give me a stealth check.
stealthily. I'll like look out, make sure nobody's in that alley beforehand. Jesus, I'm loving this dice. 26.
Yeah, no problem. You make it out the window, into the alley, and you are not seen. Jin, you're in the alleyway. What are you doing? Actually, Jin, from where you're standing, give me a perception check.
Betray me, little fuckers. You betrayed me, little fuckers. 8?
8. No sign of Omni, no sign of Medi. You're not really sure what's going on at this point. The guards seem intent on keeping an eye on the blacksmith. You're tucked away in a nearby alley. What would you like to do?
This is the only time I get to play in the daytime. And these two fuckers have left me behind. What to do, what to do.
This tomfuckery.
I'm gonna go head to the black eye.
Okay, you start making your way towards the black eye. Omni, you're in the alleyway. Looking around, no sign of anybody in this particular alley. It's quite secluded, it's shadowy. What would you like to do?
We're gonna shift into our ostentatious fancy form and go have a chat with the hawk, because fuck that guy.
Okay, and you certainly know where his flagship is, so that should not be a problem. You head that direction. Medi, have you decided what you'd like to do yet?
Continue pursuing.
What's that?
Continue pursuing.
Okay, you duck down the one tunnel that seems well lit. As you get to the very end of the tunnel, you see the small child is still in that form, but they are transcribing and glyphing and writing magical writings in a circle. And they're sprinkling ash and dust.
Like, take down whatever they're writing.
Okay. Give me an
So it
Arcana.
sounds like they're making a magic circle.
Give me an Arcana check.
These dice are displeased with me today. 14.
14. It's not a familiar spell for you, but you get the feeling it's some kind of spell. It's either a summoning spell, maybe a teleportation spell. It's a little confusing until she finishes, and then she brings her hands together, and there's an explosion of color in front of her. And then you could see a heavily cloaked, hooded figure kind of projectedly hovering there. What have you found? I am sorry to disturb you, and I report that I have not found her. I believe she is here, but I'm not sure where she is. The huge visage leans in. This slight pointed chin. I will not tolerate failure from one such as you, Brandenburg. You will bring her to me, and you will fucking do it. Now, do you understand me? And change out of that ridiculous form. You should be proud of being a lich. It's what you are. You watch as the girl melts away, and this translucent undead creature just fills up the space.
There were super Palpatine. Yeah. Oh.
I'm sorry, Master. I'm doing the best I can. I'm not used to wandering such places. Can't we just kill them all and look for her corpse? And you watch as the big cowled figure. Ah, that's the voice I like to hear. No, find her. She must be here. The scry effect sent us the warning. She must be here. Brennus was handled by her. Find her now. You watch.
I know a thing or two about liches. I'm out. I'm out.
You immediately turn.
Did you mean Barris?
Hell no.
Did you mean Barris was handled?
Yeah, Barris was handled. Yeah.
Cool.
Do I recognize the voice of the giant?
No, nothing is recognizable.
Good.
You
Bye.
quickly make your way all the way back up through the trapdoor, out into the alleyway, and you're like,
I need to go find Omni or Jin or Cathard. Omni. I tried to track down Omni.
I mean, they could be anywhere.
I know. I ask whatever random person I can find. Hey, have you seen an individual that looks kind of like this? Describe what Omni usually looks like. Probably isn't gonna work.
Give me a performance check.
Cool. 4.
That sounds terrifying, dear. Why would you want to look for someone like that? And they just walk off into the crowd.
I don't know. The terror is really attractive for some reason.
So, Jen, you're making your way towards the Black Eye. Medi, you're struggling to find where everybody went after experiencing a lich in a conversation with somebody else through a projection of magic. Gatharn, you make it back to Raylene's ship, and you're currently stowing away your potions. Omni, you're looking for the hawk. That is no problem at all as you make your way down towards the wharf near the outer wards. And there's the massive flagship, like you remember. It's not nighttime yet. It's still light out. There are guards posted at the gangway. You see the familiar Warforged standing there speaking to somebody. Doesn't look familiar to you. No sign immediately of the hawk, but you're in the right place.
I'll go up to the guards and can you inform the hawk that I'm here?
Yeah, we know who you are. We'll be back. And one of them just quickly goes up, and then you watch as they point down, and there's the hawk in his daytime attire. He is wearing yellows and greens and reds, a huge cape-like, ridiculously garish garment coming off his shoulders. He's wearing very bright pantaloons of just an enormous amount of color. He's carrying a cane with a silver handle on it. His giant plumed hat. You can see the choker chain around his neck, the rings of all manner on both hands. And he stands at the top of the gangway and goes, "Oh, Omni, have you decided to take me up on my offer then? Please, come on board."
I'll go up and go on board and
as you stand on deck, as you stand on deck, you could see the three sisters kind of off to the side. They immediately look in your direction. They don't seem to be harmed in any way. They seem quite normal. They all ears are attached and no real difference in their appearance. Eventually, you see the Warforged come up kind of behind you. There are many sailors kind of shifting about. And you watch as the Hawk goes and sits on a crate. There's a bottle of wine with 2 glasses. A charcuterie tray has been set up. So, please, grab a seat. What can I possibly help you with, dear?
Well, we don't like being lied to. And you
Oh.
lied to us.
Did I now? What
Oh,
falsehood, pray tell, did I tell you?
Let's go ahead and drop the games and just speak plainly. I know normally you are used to
Intimidation or
operating.
Persuasion for the start. Your choice.
Persuasion to
Okay,
start.
go
Not
for
trying
it.
to be mean, still keeping pleasantries.
That's why I
but-
like to give you the choice.
Yeah.
That allows you to flavor the conversation your way.
Because he's probably dealt with way scarier people and is more difficult to intimidate than persuade.
Yeah, honestly, might be the better of frivolity for sure.
Yeah, 26.
26. 25 on an insight check. Holy shit, I love this dice.
I've been using like my metal dice this whole time.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
rolled
just
a
been, like,
19.
superb.
I rolled a 19 plus 6.
Mine's plus 8.
Met your
Okay.
match in the Eaters of the Dead. He just kind of leans back and he goes, very well. Plainly spoken. All charades drop. I'm still unclear as to what lie I exactly told you.
Well, we were just told yesterday, last night. Wow, a lot's happened in a day.
Yes, the days do go by quickly, don't they?
That
He's now picking at the plate and eating. Offers you a goblet of wine.
I'll pick up some of the cheese.
Okay.
Because meat and cheese at the last place was really bad, and we were just throwing it at the goblin. We weren't eating it at all.
He sips at the chalice that he's drinking from.
You had said that you had no ownership or claim to the Black Eye, and from what we hear from the crew, that is one of your ships. Now, I'm curious because it does not seem like one of the ones that you would normally have ownership of, being that it's of such meager and humble value. And what is the actual true purpose in the deceit behind trying to gain favor or gain some type of information from us in regards to Tharivol, what his plans are? Just, it doesn't seem to add up.
Well, I'm not much of a mathematician myself. I merely meant to ask questions and inquiries. I assumed that when your young friend Afiola took possession of the ship, that, well, once you dispatched the captain, I would no longer have a claim.
Oh yeah, he's dead. He died last night.
Isn't that interesting that happened?
Nope, not interesting at all. He came and tried to attack us on our ship, not the Black Eye, on Captain Raylene's ship.
Yes.
And we are a loyal crew. We would absolutely protect our captain's ship.
Yeah, it's interesting that happened as well. Yes, I agree.
Was that on your call? Was that your doing?
I can't keep track of the sisters all the time. I mean, they do what they do.
Inside check.
Yeah, go for it.
15.
He's impossible to read.
Cool. Speaking of your sisters, I notice one of them has her ear back. That's interesting too. Just fair warning, if you send people after any of our crew, they will continue to lose limbs.
Omni, do you know what I do for a living?
I'm very much aware.
What is it that
We've
I do?
heard
What
We've
is it
heard many of their tales of all of the things that you have your hands in. And actually, when we were discussing some of our insights and plans with Thorvald himself today, he was very curious and was wondering, what other things we might have to share with him about you. And I'm sure you as well must be incredibly curious as to some of the things and plans that he has going on.
Oh.
We may seem to be of humble and meager status, but we are not ones to be messed. or ignored.
You watch as he moves his hand like that, and an illusion of a chessboard appears on the crate. Do you play chess?
Honestly, Medi is far greater at this game than I.
I've heard.
Shall
Ow!
we?
Are you
Do you
any
wanna go
good at
first?
chess? Can I ask you a question, Omni? Is there more power in setting up the pieces, or is there more power in moving them?
Power is power. The one who buys the chessboard has control over it.
Perhaps. Perhaps when I brokered the deal with the Jefe, Gregore Von Weis, between Firbold's brother and him, and convinced the Jefe to send the ship out into the hurricane. Perhaps that's where it all began. Perhaps once you realize you are merely a piece on my chessboard, and I assure you, Omni, and I hope you take this with all sincerity, I genuinely appreciate your skills. But I built this chessboard over 100 years ago. My pieces are in motion. My players have been picked, and it is I who decides who lives and dies in my world. So,
You and
there's no
Thorvald seem to have a
delusions
lot
of
in common.
grandeur here. Now, since you don't play chess, sometimes it's better to watch those that can.
Oh, we watch everything.
Well,
and we're fast learners.
It's been a very entertaining and informational conversation, Omni. I do hope the next time we meet it's a little bit more friendly.
This was actually quite friendly. I mean, aside from everybody surrounding us right now, it's been good to see you again. Your style is superb, as always.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not flattery, that's actual admiration.
Well, I appreciate that. And you hear the three sisters almost speak in unison. Yes, he has much style. Perhaps better to admire it from afar, far. You look to see you are absolutely correct. No one is doing their chores. Everybody is staring at you intently in a very casual way. So, maybe next time we play, you'll know how to play chess.
Oh, I know how to play, I just don't like the game. Little small word of advice from a humble sailor. Thorvald's coming for you.
My
He's
dear,
bent on it.
I have no doubt that he will come for me.
Question is just when. And will you be prepared? Or
I
will you
don't-
have the right people in your corner?
Good points. By the way, Omni, what was in that little panel that you looked inside of? What was that little gem that you took? Curious. Why the blacksmith shop? I'm fascinated with that place, for sure.
Honestly, we were trying to buy weapons. Didn't seem to work out too well for him.
No, poor old Barnes.
Yeah. Tried to buy my friend.
Hmm.
That wasn't gonna happen.
That's an unusual tact for him, but fair. Do pass along to Medi. I would love to have a conversation with her. And a piece of advice to good old Gathon. Steer clear of the sisters. That's a genuine, good piece of advice. I don't always handle them well.
I know, honestly, we told him and we warned him, but he was like, he thinks with different heads sometimes and does a lot of drugs. So it's, it's.
I'm not so
We're working
sure
on
that I'm not thinking with a different head myself. I do find you fascinating, Omni. Can only imagine what the two of us could accomplish. It's terrifying.
If only we had Copper Joe's compass, because that's what all this seems to be revolving around, doesn't it?
He, for the first time, the veneer cracks significantly, and he shifts on the crate. You hear soft steps behind you. They stop. It's been a pleasure, Omni. Good day. And he gets up, picks up the tray, the bottle of wine, and walks away.
Oh, Hawk, one last thing.
Yes.
Here. I flip him one of the black market currency things.
Yeah.
Since they're not worth anything. Oh, that's right. That was another one of the lies I forgot about.
He grabs it and he looks
you can
at
keep
it.
That one.
Thank you.
Souvenir from the island.
Puts it in his pocket. Well, Omni, it's been a pleasure. Drains the last of the bottle and walks towards his quarters.
Give him a little bow.
The three sisters kind of like guide you down the gangway. Just wicked smiles on their faces. And then you find yourself back in the outer wards, making your way wherever you'd like to go. If you want to puke in a bucket, feel free.
Yeah. Super shook from that. Not had that type of
Hey, Jack from camp. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it.
Gonna actually head to the Black Eye.
Okay, so you're heading the Black Eye. Jin, you reach the Black Eye. Medi, you're the only one kind of wandering around trying to figure out what to do at this point.
I'm not wandering. I'm sprinting, looking for my friends. There's no subtlety right now.
I would say
sneaky.
definitely in this moment of like panic and realization, and for the brevity of the three and the four of you coming together, I'll say all four of you eventually come to the Black Eye. Jin, you're there first. Within like 10 or 15 minutes, you watch as Omni approaches. A few minutes after that, you guys watch as a sprinting Medi is approaching. And
I probably forget that I have the ring on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you eventually just hear Medi's voice.
All right, hold on.
Hang on.
It's the gangplank, right?
You're at the base of the gangway. You can either be at the top of it or at the base. It's up to you.
Yeah, so it's Omni and I have my feet kicked over the railing, and I hand. Do you smoke, Omni?
No, it's a filthy, disgusting habit.
But these are fancy though, and from what I've heard, you've just verbally abused the hog. That takes some balls, and I respect that. I mean, you earned this, if anything. So I'll nip off the ends and then I'll light it for him. Like, come on, you earned it, buddy. Yeah, just let it sit in your hand and then you make it look real pretty. Like,
yeah, so Medi, you see Omni and Jin, just Omni looking at it and Jin smoking.
Are they on a gangplank?
They're on like the gangway leading up to the top of the Black Eye. Black Eye's not a very big ship. It's more like a schooner, single mast, just 2-layered hull. So it's about a 10, 12 foot gangway that leads you up onto the main deck.
I barely resist the urge to just try to kick Jin off.
Like I'm saying, Nami, I think Medi. I don't know. If I understand correctly, and I trust me,
you guys hear somebody whistling, swinging a chain for a belt, and with a big shit eating I got laid grin on their face as Gatharn is now walking towards the two of you.
Like I said, 20 gold pieces, Gatharn tells us that he was just laid.
Are you kidding? He's gotten laid almost every time he goes anywhere, he gets laid. Like, why would I take that bet?
You just told off the hog. I thought it was a wild night for you. Usually you're so polite and you keep to yourself and you're like, oh, what should we do, guys? What are your plans? You never take charge, and then you decide to do this?
Polite, but we don't like getting lied to.
Oh, man.
Plus,
Gatharn has also been, securing supplies for the ship.
Fair enough.
We don't know that.
Firbolg was invigorating.
So, Medi, have you procured your visibility yet, or are you still standing there?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to just get, right next to Jin.
Okay. Give me a stealth check. We'll see if he notices you. Jin, what's your passive perception?
12, I want to say.
Okay. Medi, what'd you get?
Natural 20 for a 25.
Yeah, no clue. They have, even Omni's passive wouldn't pick up on that, let alone Gatharn's. And the three of them have kind of come together on this area of the ramp that leads up onto the Black Eye. No one's aware of you.
Hold on.
What's your passive?
I cast See Invisibility.
Why?
Because I'm waiting for you.
Well, that's a fair statement. I mean, he doesn't know where you are.
I
would also say your paranoia would be peaked because clearly the Hawkmoors know about you guys than you know about yourself.
And he's scrying on us, and See Invisibility allows you to see the little scry bulbs.
So, with that, two things happen. You see the outline of Medi, and hovering right above you, a translucent orb that immediately disappears.
I give it a little wave.
I just lean down
Who are you waving to?
between the two of them.
The hawk.
The hawk? He's looking in on us?
Yeah.
I worry about Medi. There's obviously something that's chasing her. Right?
During my shopping travails, I would have stopped by the blacksmith and gone, hey, what happened here? What happened to the merchandise? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. They would have just told you to fuck off.
Fuck you too then. I'll ask Mary. She'll know.
Seeing Medi's outline, I'll talk to Jin and kind of scoot him so that he's closer to her. And
you want me to get closer?
what do you mean something's following? Something's just coming up right behind her, or?
I feel like nefarious. There's something chasing her that's from her past, and if I'm going to be completely honest with you, Omni, I feel like I'm on the other end. I'm trying to chase my past, but I can't just quite grasp onto it. You know what I mean? Ever feel like you're chasing your past? Trying to find out who you are? Trying to figure out, piece it all together, but you can't seem to get all the way there because your old noggin just isn't 100%.
We can't relate to that specifically. We try to look more towards the future because
Gatharn's
sometimes the past isn't that great, and it's
stand
nicer
between
to
them.
It's nicer to forget.
Oh, hey, bud.
Listening to the conversation while chewing on a rat skewer.
Is that a rat?
It's meat.
How's your day been?
You gotta learn to be a little bit more picky.
Productive. I got it stocked for potions. I made sure larder's stocked, and I got rat.
And when you say our larder, our provisions are stocked, do you mean the Black Eye's provisions are stocked, or do you mean Raylene's ship is stocked?
Raylene's ship. Why would I stock the Black Eye?
Because this is our ship now.
When did this become our ship?
Wait, he doesn't know?
I was unconscious.
Oh shit. We own this now. This is our ship.
Shit.
Oh,
Yeah, Afiola had it, but then she left, so she left it to us.
This is a
Well,
really nice
technically, she was-
bonding moment and all, but there's a lich.
Oh, fuck. Just wherever that voice came from, Jin just throws out a punch wildly.
Jin, give me acrobatics really quick.
Theoretically. Should be good.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. 23.
23. You almost lose your balance. Recognizing Medi's voice, but not sure it's her. You swing. Go ahead and roll to hit.
You're kidding, he
Disadvantage.
swings recognizing it's her, for sure.
The lowest was a 16 to a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So what's your unarmed? You're gonna go with your
Wait,
unarmed
at
strike?
disadvantage because she's invisible.
It was disadvantaged. My lowest one was a
shit.
16.
Yeah.
God dang.
2 points of damage.
I'll, deactivate the ring or whatever and just kind of like hold my job. All right. Well, you see, I was stopping that conversation because it sounded like you're going to get into some deep stuff and we're trying to have a private conversation. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop on that.
Jin was
He's a
like
nice
mid
person.
mid attack for like a second follow up, like a kick, and this Medi takes out the ring. He's just, oh, it's Medi.
is Brackish on the boat?
Just
What,
touch her in the nose.
Guys, lich.
Wait, so you remember
think
when we
that's-
won the ship then?
Lich.
What?
Lich. Is anybody paying attention to me? There's a lich.
Yeah, there's probably a bunch of lichen all over this place. We're in the sea.
Lich. Do you know what a lich is?
Yeah,
DM,
it's
do
short
we
for
know what a
lichen.
lich is?
Oh my god.
I rolled a
Um,
16 plus whatever you say it's supposed to be.
Lich
I would say you can
is
make
one
religion
lichen.
checks.
All right, so that would be
So
for a total of
it is
18.
eight
Okay.
multiple
I'll be
lichen.
guiding them through it. Undead. Very
Well.
bad. Very powerful.
I would have gone more with just something my dad would have told
I would
me.
say I would definitely say that Omni, Gathar, and Jin would be aware of the common lore and the urban legends as well as the non-fictional understandings of what a lich is. But most of it would be either from garish style readings, uncommon forms of communication with, ne'er-do-wells of the past. Nothing that tells you that I know how they, I know what they eat, I know where they sleep, I know what they, not the microcosm of their existence, but you're aware of them.
Liches
kind of
don't
bar
exist. They're
tavern
a fairy.
story.
Yeah, they're a fairy tale told to you by your grandmother to keep you inside at night so you don't go out and party. Liches. Can you believe that? What, we were born yesterday?
Eddie, what
Although,
happened?
to be
There's-
fair, I
there's-
didn't see a vampire until.
Uh-huh. It's almost like all of those things and all of those fairy tales that they tell you about are true or something.
I didn't meet one until.
Raylene.
Is that
Because
what you
you're
mean?
not talking about me.
Yeah, Raylene's a vampire?
Yeah.
Put
You
that
didn't
on
know?
Paylor. Put that on Paylor. Put that on Paylor. That
Yeah.
Raylene's a vampire.
Raylene's a vampire.
On Paylor, that Raylene's a
Yeah,
vampire.
on Baylor.
Who's Paylor?
Din just sits on the gangplank and has his hands in his head for like a solid minute.
You
In
didn't
case
get all
haven't-
of the snack jokes that she says?
I know.
I thought she was
I'm-
being cute. I thought she was just being cute. I thought
Do
that's
you
what...
think I'm
Oh,
a
I saw the
vampire?
fangs. Raylene's totally
Is there a
vampire.
difference?
She's like
What are
charmed
you?
me like 3 different times.
Like a halvesy, a dampier.
The fuck's a dampier?
Yeah, the fuck's a dampier?
It's like almost a vampire, but not quite.
But you guys are constantly moist. Like you have moist bottoms. But and that's what we call a callback.
All that.
I try to kick Jin off the gangplank.
Impeccable ass work because I'm sitting on the gangplank.
Yeah.
So
Jin-
what's the condition of the black eye?
So, as you guys are having this conversation, you hear heavy footsteps. The big
Oh, no.
Goliath form comes over, the familiar of Brackish. Well, we've done what we can. But hey, are you a captain yet, Omni, or is this just a shit show? and that's where we're going to finish tonight.
Shit show.
We're trying to have a very important
Definitely a
conversation.
shit show. Definitely a shit show.
Well, everybody,
Oh man.
thank you. You met the true side of the hawk, one of my favorite nefarious NPCs that I've used multiple times throughout other campaigns with different flavor and additives. But his role in the Debtors Gambit is going to be lots of fun, especially with Omni and Jin and Medi and Gatharn. And hopefully in November, we'll have Afiola back when time change occurs. She'll get that hour back. So fingers crossed.
We get that
We
hour
need
back.
some
They kind of
pendants
stayed
of,
away.
Right.
like anti-scrying. We need to be in control. I was hoping that gem was going to do the trick. That gem was going to be something that like blocked magical effects around us.
The gem didn't even emanate any magical things, but you guys never asked.
No, we clocked it in the room.
Yeah, but I did this whole magical kind of like presence thing. Like I can sense any magical items and whatnot within a 60-foot radius. Nothing was magical in that room.
Anyways, folks,
But no one's ever asked me, and I like walked off and fucked off and got high.
As they wander down the meta corridor, everything you need to know about us is down below. Come join our Discord. I am in the process of resetting the miniature giveaway and the dice giveaway. We will be giving away blue lightning dice this week.
Wait, who won?
Jessup, I believe. Jessup won the watermelon dice. And
Nice.
so Thomas Bastion something or other won the miniature blind box. Both of those will go out on Monday. We have 2 days left until we give away the player's bundle pack. And congratulations to Kyle West Plays. You're the winner of a core rulebook of your choice. I haven't checked Whispers yet, so I'm hoping they whispered me so I can get that all sorted out. Other than that, folks, join our Discord. Check us out. We will be back here tomorrow night with Faerun Reborn as we do part 3 of a 3-part combat encounter. This should be really interesting. So, thanks everyone. Stay safe. Be kind. Play a game. It's important. You'll have fun. I promise.
Feed and Shane.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.